Hey, looks like it is time to duel, so let's go ahead and begin our top 32 of the Shadow Duelist Tournament, number 3. We're going to go ahead and pick the first duelists that were ready here, because it is officially start time. All right, duelists, you have 45 minutes. You may begin. Looks like FSN Lemon is going to be going first here. All right, so starting off with the Molcharmi Purulia. And now we're live here. So actually, Fisher's going to be going first. Okay, so he decided to go second. Makes sense as a good go second board. The Fiendsmith track has been activated. It's going to go ahead and grab Fabled Lurie from the deck. And drop that down. Of course, Fabled Lurie's effect activates. Fabled Lurie putting in so much work yesterday. But now we've also got a Max C. So don't just have to deal with the Purulia. Also have a great use of Max C there. And the Purulia is obviously good for things like Diabellstar, the Black Witch, or Kashtira monsters. You do want to activate it before you see that first card. With Max C, very wise to hold on to it. And that ends it just right there. It doesn't want to even link summon a bit because that'd be 2 draws just off of Fiendsmith Requiem. So forget whatever else would be coming there. Alright, so the first main phase 1 of Lemon's Day 2, starting off with Tenpai Dragon Pydra. So really trying to gun for the win here, but it looks like an Infinite Permanence is going to stop that immediately. It's going to be super handy because, you know, you don't necessarily want to be staring down Tenpai Dragon Pydra. It is 2 out of 3, so it's a little different than yesterday for sure, but they've already got the Chundra here. They didn't have the Sangen Summoning Field spell, so a little bit different there than they probably would have liked. But now it's just straight battle phase. This may be all she wrote there. And yeah, wow, what a concession that early. So the duelist may take a second here, but Lemon winning the first game of the day of our top 32 cut. And I think we could just catch up on other duelists here as we wait for them. So let's take a look at BOA. Haga versus their opponent there, rocking out the low of the Voiceless Voice. But yeah, that's all she wrote there. Pretty fast. All right, so let's go ahead and draw and see what we got here. And so playing a little bit of catch-up just to get us to where we are, although it's only been a few turns, so I can't imagine too crazy here. But it looks like, wow, Vega just passing the turn. Nobody making a single move here. Finally, Tenpai Dragon showing up here. Tenpai Dragon Pydra being met with an Infinite Impermanence. So Infinite Impermanence abound there, but VOA Haga kind of on the back foot here in case there is just way too much going on here. But it looks like 1700 attack. And that may be it. So Haga drawing for turn. Going to go ahead and use Fiendsmith track, but it's met with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So you really want to be able to get that done. But passes turn again there. Goes right into the battle phase. 1700 attack, but no additional cards, including those Sangen Kaimen. So it's to set a card there on Shanker's side. And then that's it. Going to go and pass the turn there. So this is turn 6. And we have seen 2 attacks from Tenpai Dragon Pydra. Just some incredible stuff there because, you know, usually the duel would be over if Tenpai Dragons got into the battle phase. But they haven't yet managed to close this game out. So Haga goes to their turn. And running a Magical Musketeer Calamity, a Light Fiend. So we are getting to see a little bit of Magical Musketeer Fiendsmith, a deck that has seen some pretty decent tournament results here and there, but hasn't had like a blowout in the TCG. Maybe that could change. Maybe somebody gets inspired after they see Magical Musketeer Max slam down here. And it's just so much value, right? You get to go ahead and add different Magical Musket cards up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. They control 2 cards, so that is going to be 2 different Magical Musket cards. So go ahead and load up the chamber here, or not. One good Infinite Permanence deserves another, and this one is going to be in the same chain here, so we're not going to get anything there, and it does negate that column, so you got to be careful there. Magical Musketeer, obviously they like to play behind their monsters there, but we'll see if that ends up coming up at all. But now there's going to be a Link Summon again. It's a Light Fiend, so Fiendsmith Requiem feeling pretty good, huh? Alright, Fiendsmith Requiem smashing down here. This might be Haga's chance to get into the duel again. 2 battle phases. 2 battle phases against Tenpai and just managing to just keep themselves safe and technically getting through multiple turns here. But after the Fiendsmith Requiem is tributed for its own effect, there comes that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, slowing it down. So we have to wonder, is there a Called by the Grave? Is there a Crossout Designator? Nope. Looks like that is going to go ahead and resolve as intended. So Ash Blossom just stops the Fiendsmith Requiem in its tracks. And now we're at the end phase here. And so how long can Shankers just not draw Sangen Kaimen or Sangen Summoning, right? There's a face-down monster. We don't know what it could be. I can't imagine. Maybe it's like a counter maybe a set Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for the defense. Maybe you don't want to run into Tenpai. We do see Bestial Druid's Worm go ahead and banish the Fiendsmith Requiem here and special summon itself to the field. So not exactly Bestial Magma, not able to sort of right wrongs here with this sort of mismatched hand that Shankers has. Only mismatched, of course, because it's Tenpai Dragon, right? We know what they do. They get it done fast. But right now, it does not look like speed is on the menu. We are going to see a normal summon here of Droll and Lockbird, and a flip summon. It was a Molcharmy for Wallows, so this could be a lot of different things. Maybe a Link summon, maybe even a 4-material Appaloosa after a few attacks here, but it looks like we're going to do 3-material Link summon of some kind. And it seems to be Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, which will be used to special summon back the Tenpai Dragon Pydra. So setting the Fawallows, really good play there to build up those bodies on the board. If there's no infinite permanents or effect failure here, then Promethean Princess is going to bring back the Pydra, which will grab out those key Songan field spells or Songan cards. But that actually is going to be a little difficult there. Promethean Princess does destroy, or does get destroyed, by the Ghost Ogre and Stone Rabbit, but it's not quite enough, right? The issue is you are going to see the Tenpai Dragon Pydra go ahead and activate its effect here, unless there's just something else that could stop it. Can it be stopped? Maybe Haga decided to use the Ghost Ogre, not as a desperation move, but just to clear off the additional Link materials, because now Ghost Mortar and Moonlit Chill negating the effect and keeping that monster on the board. Haga staying in this duel as long as they can. If my math isn't wrong here, then that is approximately 4,200. Yeah, it's 4,200, which would leave Haga at 400. So 400 attack points makes the difference. 400 points of effect damage would make the difference. But hasn't happened yet. So this may just be a battle phase. Wow, really, really hanging in there. So just incredible stuff here. As Haga hanging out with just a single prayer and nothing else. But he's going to have to play through Druid's Worm. Does get play passed back to them, so they're going to have 4 cards in hand. They've got their Fiendsmith combo, but we don't know if they run multiple copies of Fiendsmith Requiem, and one of their Fiendsmith Requiems, of course, is banished. So what they do next, I mean, there's no telling. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and forfeit the duel there. So Haga doing a great job of holding on for dear life, but not able to launch any counter punches there. So as we continue to move through our top 32, just kind of featuring as many different duels as we can, let's go ahead and take a look at World Championship competitor and current World Champion team member, Jesse Cotton here, to showcase maybe the Red and Blue Eyes. Looks like they might be. Oh, goodness. Okay, so Jesse's still running Blue Eyes. NDA is Flaviovic, I should say. He's going to go ahead and put that up. But yeah, it looks like we started off with a Maiden of White. We know this combo pretty well by now. Bringing out the True Light, setting the Wishes for Eyes of Blue. Wishes for Eyes of Blue, discarding that Blue Eyes White Dragon sort of glued to Jesse's hand there. But it does make the Majesty a little better. We do see the summon of a single Maiden of White, but the Fawallows is actually going to shut the turn completely down. No summon of the Spirit Dragon. Then we are going to see Gold Sarcophagus grab Blaster Dragon, Ruler of Dark, banish it, and that allows for the search of Tenpai Dragon Genroku, who is going to get banished, but before it even gets to use its effect, the Majesty trap card is going to go ahead and destroy it. And then another Gold Sarcophagus, just getting the Tenpai Dragons just ready as much as you can, which is incredible. But we do see a Fawallow start there, and then we're going to go ahead and get into turn 3 here. Now Jesse ain't playing around. He's going to go ahead and Link summon the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, grab out what he needs to. There's going to be a Molcharmy Purulia just trying, I guess, to search out an Nibiru, the Primal Being. But now using the Wishes for Eyes of Blue, getting rid of the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to equip itself and make it the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, special summon the Blue Eyes, bring out another Blue Eyes White Dragon. Here comes the attacks. Blue Eyes does it. Jesse Cotton goes ahead and wins that game. All right, so let's go ahead and keep things moving here as we take a look at what Yusif is doing for the top 32 today. Now, again, duelists can change their decks even in between duels, so there's no guarantee that just because we see somebody play Blue Eyes on one match that they're going to be rocking out the Blue Eyes White Dragon on the next. So that said, let's go ahead and take a look on the beautiful Sky Striker mirror match, at least on the field. Yusif taking on SN Kage here. And looks like total pass. We've seen that happen before where they're just like, nope, not going to do anything. This was much more of a go in second hand. But it looks like we're seeing Diabellstar. And before Diabellstar even comes out, we are seeing the Molcharmy Purulia. We were just talking about how that would be a good way to get this extra draw here. Going to kind of breeze through this just so we can kind of catch up to see what's happening in each of the top tables here. We are going to see the original Sinful Spoils get negated there by the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So not only did the Diabellstar give card advantage, but it kind of, well, it was for naught. Now we're seeing a little bit of a shaded Bellstar from SNKage's side, using the Hollow Azamana in connection with the Deception of Sinful Spoils to make Azamana Mu'Arshalag. But its effect is going to be negated, so we're not adding a single card. Direct attack for 2,000 isn't bad. We'll set 2 cards and get back that Deception of Sinful Spoils. Sky Striker music kicking into overdrive here. But we are going to go ahead and banish the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. And then there's Snake Eye's Poplar. Going to go ahead and get its effect since it was added to the hand. Grabbing out the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, banishing the Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils to recycle the original Sinful Spoils, doing such great work of resource management here. Of course, the Link Karibo is out to go ahead and bring everything out for the rest of this combo because, again, using the Snake Eye Oak, setting off the Snake Eye Ash with the Spell and Trap stuff. There comes Snake Eye's Flamberge Dragon, and it is going to get negated, though, with the Infinite Permanence there, but here's Moon to Closed Heaven, and that's kind of the issue with this particular deck. Where do you negate? What do you stop? And the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, well, it stops something. Would have been helpful against this Fiendsmith Requiem that was able to bring out the Fiendsmith Engraver, get itself equipped, get rid of that Mu'Arshalag, bring us into Fiendsmith sequence, go ahead and perform a Fusion Summon, but another choke point here. The Infinite Permanence stopping that Fusion Summon, but it doesn't matter because still managing to get another Link out, and now we've got another Link for Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames to special summon the Snake Eyes Bellstar. There's Nibiru the Primal Being back in the duel. SNKage just able to kind of clear things out, but a Snake Eye Oak still manages to come out alongside. Look at all these attackers still drawing 2 cards, decide to attack the Nibiru, didn't decide to take it because, well, it would have been game though. But able to link off with the Link Karibo and then make an SPL Knight, assumingly to banish the face down card. Yep, there it goes, and it was that Deception of Sinful Spoils. So SNKage back to the ropes here against the wall, draws a single card, manages to recycle the Hallowed Azamana by bringing back the Mu'Arshalag to the extra deck, plays the Hallowed Azamana. It's going to be a max C that's going to hurt just a little bit, and that's enough for SNKage. Closing out that duel with a surrender. All right, let's take a look at another VOA member here. It's going to be Tapate. Nice to be able to jump around right when we've got top 32 and all these duels are in progress. We're able to just kind of zoom on through, but when we go from 32 to top 16, there'll be less duels to feature. Taking a look at our bracket, by the way, nobody has advanced yet, so nothing has changed so far, but the tournament just little one-off games here and there. Speaking of one-off games, let's go ahead and start this one. We've got Bellstar and the Black Witch going to go ahead and special summon itself, but Effect Veiler is going to stop that, so maybe that Nibiru would have been helpful later. Well, okay. Hold the phone here, called by the grave. Going to go ahead and banish that, but another copy of Effect Veiler slamming down here, depleting the opponent's resources, but now there's only 2 copies of that left. So, a little difficult there for the starting hand for Tapate there, but I guess just going to try their best. So, Bellstar the Black Witch finally negated. We are going to use Triple Tactics Talent, and drawing 2 cards was selected. Going to go ahead and try to keep comboing here with advantage, and it paid off. Fiendsmith Engraver getting discarded, grabbing the Fiendsmith Track. Probably not going to see any Ash Blossom and Joy Spring here, but let's take a look as we go ahead and add Fabled Lurry, discard Fabled Lurry, and special summon Fabled Lurry back to the field. Such a great card, just an interesting little helper there. Always great to have some Light Fiends on your side. All right, so speaking of Light Fiends, Fiendsmith Requiem, glorious royal glossy finish there. It's going to go ahead and immediately be tributed off. No Ash Blossom and Joy Spring here. We do see the Fiendsmith Engraver go ahead and get linked off. So this time it looks like we're going to be making Fiendsmith Sequence. And so Fiendsmith Sequence is going to go ahead and return those essential combo pieces, Requiem and Lurry, back into the board, establishing a really strong presence here in Lacrima. And Lacrima is going to really come into play. Obviously, this tournament does fall slightly different rules in the TCG, but life points still matter at the end of the tournament. That 1,200, it's going to kick in right now, actually. And so, 4,800 defense token there, 5,400 attack. Good, but probably not too long for this world. We do see another copy of the Fiendsmith Engraver hit the field, gets equipped with the Fiendsmith Sequence, who goes ahead and gets rid of that Nibiru the Primal Being. Now we're going to see another Link summon here. So this time for IP Mascarena, do have just that one off here, the Droll and Lockwood. That's going to make a single copy of Link Karibo as well, so just good stuff for the Fiendsmith Snake Eye combo, just to be able to bounce back and forth into Link Karibo. Get it out early, certainly helps, but now play is passing back over. Fiendsmith's Track being activated, so let's see the whole thing in reverse, shall we? So, Fabled Lurry going to go ahead and get discarded, and pop itself back out on the field. And, you know, here's the issue if you're Arslan. You know, there's a version of this duel where I guess you can go ahead and use IP Masquerena to sort of clear the opponent's board before they're able to do this powerful Link Summon. We saw some of that happen. Just getting rid of the single Fabled Luri is enough. But it looks like, ooh, the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit already at the ready to get rid of IP Masquerade. It's hard to Link Summon, including this card, if you don't have this card anymore. And now we're seeing Fiendsmith Sanked, too. It's true that we don't have all the Fiendsmith cards, so we're seeing some lesser-known and lesser-played cards, and it really paid off. Fiendsmith Sequence now, you know, you have the two monsters, including the Light Fiend. Really easy to go ahead and recycle these again. Critical combo pieces in order to make Fiendsmith's Lacrima. So Lacrima drops down and is going to go ahead and bring back Fiendsmith Engraver. I feel like, you know, knowing your opponent does have the Nibiru or had Nibiru, you may have made something to kind of combat, but it looks like we're actually just going to do the SP Little Light and banish the Link Karibo so he can't... Oh, no, actually banish the Fiendsmith Engraver from the graveyard. That's cool. Okay, we haven't seen that before, but now we're going to see Fiendsmith Engraver drop down again. And now we are building the overlay network to make Triple D Wave High King Caesar. Certainly very strong here. It's going to be battling, right? It's going to reduce it down to 0. Maybe there was an order of operations thing where you switch that over, but either or you weren't going to be able to attack directly, and it was always going to tribute itself. So there we go. Looks like a single set there from Arslan, though. And into the battle phase. Ooh, it's a single set Fabled Luri, which probably means we don't have any more access to the Fiendsmith Requiem. We already know that even without the Fiendsmith Requiem, if you had it, it probably was going to get negated by the Wave High King Caesar. So just some decent looking out there. But now we see the Millennium card showing up. Second engine that wakes from a Millennium, paying 2,000 life points, special summoning itself, and grabbing out Golem that guards the Millennium Treasure. From there, is going to attack. Doesn't bring out the second monster because if you activate an effect, SP Little Knight could go ahead and banish those two monsters. So really good gameplay from Arslan. Grabbing the Wedju Temple and activating the Wedju Temple, assumedly placing a monster from the hand. Yep, it's going to be, wow, Snake Eyes Diabellstar. And those two monsters go into the grave, make the Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon. So just a really good application of the soft Crystal Beast support. Now we're live. This is currently happening in action. So we got caught up to this very moment to find out what it is that Arslan is going to do. Looks like a Link Summon here. So combining their two Millennium monsters to make a Moon of the Close Heaven. So it's definitely Infinite Forbidden format somewhere. And so the music's kicking up in a high gear as now we bring out Fiendsmith's Requiem. And I love that all the duelists here, you can tell they are just people who grind out Master Duel all the time. Great collections, great combos, good timing on the speed. Nobody taking a long think there as they figure things out. No, they have done this before, and they shall do it again. So this time we're going to do another SP Little Knight. Really heads up with the Doomed Dragon. Gives you a monster from the extra deck. So you can go ahead and banish here. Banishing the opposing Fiendsmith Engraver. So it is Fiendsmith Wars. Fiendsmith Engraver's effect activating. Recycling the sequence there for Arslan. So this is kind of Arslan's time to get back in the game. It is main phase 2 though. But could still get yourself in a good position. Seems like we're going to do a Link 3 here, and actually it's a Link 2 for another Fiendsmith sequence. This could be a good time for a Desiree just to kind of protect everything, so we'll see if we see 3 materials here instead of 2. And a lot of Fiendsmith Lacrimas, but looks like it's going to be another Fiendsmith Lacrima. So, shuffling up here. Maybe the long way there. Just depends. Might just be making their own Triple D Wave High King Caesar. So, Fiendsmith Engraver being brought back to the field. Remember, it does summon from the banishment, which is really cool. And so, yeah, here comes the overlay network. So, you tried to lock me out of my special summons. Oh, but no, it's not. It's going to be Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. So, Beatrice sending to the graveyard the original Sinful Spoils, so taking a total detour on the combo here, trying to extend even further, considering that the opponent only has 1 card in hand, and this is a single elimination format. Good on Arslan, just doing great stuff to push the envelope. Recycling the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, by the way, it is a Snake Eyes card, using that to search out Snake Eyes Ash. And now the combo is just getting started because Snake Eyes Ash obviously going to grab Snake Eyes Poplar. We know what happens next. Say it with me, class. Special summon Snake Eyes Poplar from the hand. And not a Molcharmian sight, not even able to activate it, considering that Tapte has that spell card on the field. Of course, the Triple D Wave High King Caesar. So, using the effect of Snake Eyes Poplar, going to grab the Divine Temple, the Snake Eye. And I think you're probably done with Wedju Temple here. Wedju Temple's very good, but you don't necessarily need to do too much more. We are going to see Appaloosa Bow with the Goddess slam down, so maybe a better time to use some of those additional monster effects because now you've got like insulated protection. So we could see the Divine Temple of Snake Eye come down next, but it looks like for now we are going to see a little bit of recycling. So first eye Snake Eyes Poplar, put the Snake Eyes via Bellstar into the Spell and Trap Zone, 1200 damage from the recycle off the Lacrima, and then using the effect, getting rid of the Wedju Temple, very intelligent there, not to just like play over it with the field spell, but actually sort of send it off to make this Snake Eye Oak. Snake Eye Oak going to go ahead and grab that Poplar back out of the graveyard, special summon itself back out. I imagine we'll see the Flamberge Dragon here pretty soon, but we're also going to see the Snake Eyes Ash placed in the Spell and Trap Zone from the Snake Eyes via Bellstar. So moving on up to the monster side. All right, so let's see what kind of deluxe special summon we're going to get. Nope, that is enough for Top Pate. I think they've realized how much is going on here. We're only about halfway through the round with approximately 25 minutes left to go. So let's take a look here at some of our other duelists as we continue things. It's going to be sad to send some of these duelists home. They did such a great job yesterday. But unfortunately, we could only send 2 duelists to the Shadow Duelist Tournament, and those are going to be our finalists. So we got to find out who those finalists are. And the way we do that is one duel at a time. There's going to be FS and Skilla versus Lucas here. Starting off with the Molcharmi Fuwalos, getting Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So Second Engine that wakes from Millennium is not going to trigger that off. We'll go ahead and turbo this up so we can make sure that we are catching up with the rest of the tournament. But 2,000 life points right off the top. That's going to be a Droll and Lockbird that could be pretty difficult, but goes ahead and decides to bring out the gold in the cards of Millennium Treasure in order to make Moon of the Closed Heaven for Fiendsmith's Requiem. It's going to be a little different, obviously, because you can't add any cards to your hand. Still some great Fiendsmith combos there just from here. We can go ahead and bring out Dia Bellstar, the Black Witch. She does set, so plays well against Droll and Lockbird there. Fiendsmith Sequence, recycling again, critical combo pieces back to the deck and extra deck respectively. Fiendsmith's Lacrima on the field, special summoning the Fiendsmith Engraver, and this time we are going to go for the Beatrice Lady of the Eternal and sending the Poplar to the graveyard in order to place it in the Spell and Trap Zone, and then using that as material for the original Sinful Spoils. But we're going to go ahead and special summon that back out, use the effect with Snake Eye Oak, and so just some really good juggling of the Poplar, right, because it hasn't even used its effect to go to the Spell and Trap Zone yet. It still actually very much could. Let's go ahead and have Promethean Princess bring back the Flamberge Dragon one last time, putting the Equinox Brain for a very classic Snake Eyes combo, very June 2024. We will see Link Karibo come back out, and because that was special summoned to the arrow, that Salaman Great Sunlight Wolf pointed to, we did get to go ahead and recycle some cards there. Speaking of recycling cards, Fiendsmith Engraver, great at that. Now those monsters are going to combine for a 3-material Appaloosa Bow with the Goddess. But yeah. So let's go ahead and continue. So this is 2 out of 3, by the way, so the other duelists who are continuing to play, they are also doing the 2 out of 3 matches, but to make sure that the action's still moving forward, we're just going to feature as many of the top 32 as we can. 16, we're going to slow things down. Speaking of slowing things down, why don't I go ahead and get back into the game here with SP Little Knight, banishing the Mathmech Circular after using multiple uses of Appaloosa the Bow of the Goddess. Certainly a fan favorite. Many cards could be your favorite in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but we are seeing a lot of Appaloosa and a lot of SP Little Knight today. Just kind of hedging bets and keeping the opponent at bay. That's exactly what's going on here as Skilla just continues to push away the Mathmechs as hard as they can. And Mathmech, just an incredible deck, but Lucas not able to put any Mathmechs on the board, or at least not keep them there. All right, let's take a look here at Jason versus Dark. And probably, you know, if I had to say a card that wasn't from the anime, I would say that my favorite would be Amazement Administrator Arlecchino. Because, you know, the anime gives you the goosebumps here with the Dark Magicians and the blue eyes. So I picked one that was different. All right, chat, getting back into the action here. Looks like we're seeing a lot of great Millennium gameplay. We saw this in the Challenger Cup on the official Yu-Gi-Oh! EU channel, where it just gives you so many bodies. And so we went Sengenjin that wakes from Millennium. Go ahead and use that to get Golem the Guard's Millennium Treasure that gets Wedju Temple. So go ahead and put more of those monsters in the Spell and Trap Zone to make the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, to make the Moon of the Closed Heaven, to make the Fiendsmith's Requiem. And then that's going to get out your Fiendsmith Engraver, so you got your 2 level 6s, and it's true that some of the the Millennium cards are those coveted level 6 spots that you need in a Fiendsmith deck. But Infinite Permanence will stop Beatrice Lady of the Eternal. We're going to recycle some of those fun Fiends to make Fiendsmith Sequence. Has the setup for a Desiree, but it doesn't matter because Fiendsmith Sequence is going to get stopped by Infinite Permanence, and now we're live. Which means I can breathe for just a little moment, Again, if you're just joining us, this is the top 32 of the Shadow Duelist Tournament. We're trying to feature as many different looks at as many different duelists as we can, because it's single elimination, so we will have to send these duelists home one at a time. Speaking of which, quick bracket update while we watch our duelist combo. Looks like I Love Synchro beat Usuria 2-1. Lemon beat Earl GB 2-0. Jesse Cotton won with his Blue Eyes White Dragon deck 2-0. And Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! Also up 2-0. If you're looking to follow the bracket, I'm going to go ahead and post that in the chat. And that is updated by our staff in real time. Speaking of real time, maybe real dual time, right? So, as we continue here the Primal being crashing down there, but really just stopping everything that was in play there with Jason's very elaborate combo there, and it's very cool to see all the Millennium stuff getting used. You know, I can't scream off the top of the pyramids loud enough. Millennium cards are bodies for your combos, and I'm so glad to see duelists being like, yeah, they are combo cards, actually. Okay, I know what's going on now. Speaking of going on, we got Fiendsmith's track being activated now, and we're just waiting to see, I assume, Fabled Lurry. That's a long search for Fabled Lurry. Perhaps they are out of targets. Take a look at their graveyard real fast here. Not seeing anything. Perhaps it's in their hand. Maybe they're thinking what they want to add. Now there's the Fabled Lurry. So nothing too crazy. And they're discarding the Fabled Lurry. Okay, so maybe just considering all their other light-themed options. We're not sure. Maybe they're on Magic Key. Maybe they're on Magical Musketeer. We did see that from some of the other top tables. It's great to see Magical Musketeer on the top tables, by the way. That is always exciting when decks that support a single subtype or like a combination of types, like Fiend in this case, really empower other decks. Or things like Snake Eyes Doom Dragon being dropped because they're Millennium monsters and you're spelling traps on. There's a really good, just creative vibe, right? These decks are very pile-centric, where it's just kind of like cards, right? If you want to describe any of them, what would be Hallowed, or excuse me, not Hallowed, but Azamina, White Forest, Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, Sinful Spoils, and then whatever else you want to add, right? Tenpai, Dragon comes to mind. But Duel's doing a great job of just playing the cards they have, and it kind of brings me back to old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, like, you know, you didn't really play a deck so much as you just played cards. And this feels like multiple decks in one, but hey, we'll give it to them. They are doing great. They are just kind of staring down, though. We might see maybe like a Fiendsmith sequence right now, but the problem is there's not a whole lot. You're kind of scared of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, though, if you make the Fabled Lurry and then try to bring out the Fiendsmith's Requiem. You tribute that, all of a sudden you just got a Nibiru and nothing else. Your opponent does have the Wedju Temple there. Wedju Temple able to place from your hand to the Spell and Trap Zone a monster card, and then also do the same from your deck with a Millennium monster card. The Millennium monster cards, of course, can activate their effects during, well, when they're Spell and Traps to special summon themselves and usually add additional cards. So great advantage engine. But speaking of advantage, looks like Fabled Lurry just going to attack and then do 3,000 direct, bringing the opponent down to 1,000 life points. Going into main phase 2, Dark hasn't decided what to do next, but I would imagine it's probably time to do a Fiendsmith's Requiem and just try to pull the combo off. You already have your great monster in terms of Nibiru the Primal Being. 3,000's not bad, right? Jesse Cotton winning with Blue Eyes. That's the Blue Eyes White Dragon right there. But it looks like they haven't decided what to do next. Gives us time for a little bit of a bracket update, see if anybody new popped in there. We do have some bracket updates. Shankers did win 2-1 against Tega. TTK also went 2-0. So slowly but surely our bracket is filling out there. And Jonas advancing over Maybach. Oh, Maybach we saw in the stream yesterday. Sorry, friend. Well, there is always a tomorrow. And there are going to be more tournaments like this in the future, so don't worry, friends, if you don't make it today. But we do see the Call by the Grave banished there from the SP Little Knight on main phase 2, and that could be critical against a number of different options, but there isn't anything from the hand. So this is really going to come down to just what are you able to play and what are you able to do. We might see use of the Wedju Temple here to go ahead and get another Golden Guards Millennium Treasure. Problem is, with no actual Millennium on, you can't play any of the cards, and the most it would be doing is setting up a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. But Jason's going to start with just recycling the Fiendsmith sequence back into the extra deck to special summon his Fiendsmith Engraver, see where he goes from there. Ooh, and there's the Call by the Grave! Depriving your opponent of the very answer they needed. And yet, you get to keep that answer and just point right down there. So, Dark just not letting Jason get an inch here. Again, single elimination tournament. Everybody wants that coveted spot. And hey, maybe they just want to rescue Rabbit Plushie. Who knows? But Dark getting ever closer to becoming part of our top 16 here. Setting a monster. Jason really kind of slowing things down. Now, the defense on that might be high enough. And it is a simplified game state. Honestly, Jason has more cards, but we'll see if that ends up mattering because Dark has a lot of resources at the ready. So, into the battle phase. SPLMI going to go ahead and attack, and it is an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. 200 damage, so no perfect victory here for Dark. They definitely have some life point scuffs there. But now we'll go ahead and continue with the turn change. So Jason able to hold out because the opponent didn't have anything else, setting a single card. You got to imagine it's probably like a cross-out designator and or an infinite permanence, because if it was something like a Fiendsmith Sanct or something like that, we definitely would have seen them activated by now, just trying to cause... Oh! And we're going to have Sengenjin that wakes from a Millennium. Going to place it into the Spell and Trap Zone, but unable to pay the life point cost, so... Not sure if maybe they should have done that with the effect of Wedge Temple. Maybe they didn't have any targets in the deck left. Most people running a very slim package, so just setting just the one. And that's going to be all she wrote. But now we're seeing Rise to full height. Target a face a monster in the field, double its defense. That is different, but then its defense becomes 0 at the end of the turn. That is huge. That is the most random trap card ever. Okay. Yeah, it did it though. It did it. And battle phase. Now what are we doing now? Looks like we're gonna go in tribute. Nice. Okay, so getting in the battle phase here. Gonna go ahead and bring out Link Karibo, who is big enough now because of it rose to full height. Okay, cool. Cool. I guess that is absolutely what you need if you're gonna clinch at a game. In our top 32, that is jaw-dropping. Again, rise to full height. Yeah, okay. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target a monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack for the rest of the turn except to attack that monster. Yeah, that is exceptional. Okay. If I seem a little dumbfounded, I am. Looks like in terms of who we've got left, let's make sure we're showcasing some duels we haven't seen. So we're going to go down here. Rise to full height and top. We've seen some wild stuff in Top Cut before, and that is why it's always a joy to host these. You know, I know that there's a lot of different, things you could be doing with your Sunday, but rise to full height. Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and just serious up for just a second. My apologies. That was good. That was good. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here. Looks like some Tenpai Dragons, but Solemn Warning stopping the Sangen Kaimet. So taking a lot of life point damage there, but able to completely stop the Duelist in their tracks. We've got about 13 minutes left on the clock here, so we shouldn't see too many photo finishes. But we got Couplet, Melodious Diva getting played there, and searching out, I believe, Refrain. No, it's going to be Melodious Concerto, and then decided not to play anything. Very dangerous as a Tenpai Duelist, but activating the Max C there. And that's going to be all she wrote, just 116, so a Molchami Fuwalos in attack mode. So Kelel goes ahead and draws again, going to activate Melodious Concerto, fusing to make Baka the Melodious Maestra, and then going to go ahead and use the effects there, placing Couplet into the Spell and Trap Zone as a Pendulum spell. Going to be an Ash Blossom against the Refrain, but you still got a battle phase. Hey, 16 is big enough. The Dragon Monster, of course, not destroyed by battle, because Tenpai Dragon Fadra prevents that, but we are going to see Baka use its effect, as well as a couple of other effects on the chain there, but unfortunately we are going to go ahead and be banishing the Refrain. I do get to draw a card, and wow, okay, nice to see some of the Ishizu cards being used outside of the Ishizu deck, but let's go in Fiendsmith. We do see Moon of the Closed Heaven becomes Fiendsmith Requiem, becomes Fiendsmith Engraver, becomes Fiendsmith Sequence, and finally there's a Call by the Grave. Interesting that they didn't wait to react, but it looks like, whoa, Nibiru the Primal Being getting stopped by Herald of Orange Light with Melodious. That's not as wild as like Rise to Full Height, but it is up there. It is up there. So some really cool stuff here. We do go ahead and see the Fiendsmith Lacrima Fusion Summon there, equipped, or excuse me, attaching itself along with Fiendsmith Engraver's materials to Beatrice of Lady of Eternal, sending additional cards to the graveyard, even to grab 2 fairy monsters, being Herald of Green Light and Herald of Orange Light. Unless you drew a trap card, that's okay. Any given Sunday, this is insane. Okay, I have no idea what is going on anymore. The Top Cuts. I absolutely feel like I must be hallucinating. The extra lost hour of sleep from the daylight savings time event that we just had here in the United States. That's got to be it, right? Nobody's playing these cards. This isn't real. This isn't happening. All right, let's see what we got here. As kick into high gear as we keep things going. So we've only got about 10 minutes left in the round here. There's no way. There's no way. But, okay, standard Fiendsmith, standard Snake Eye, right? So we see Ash to Poplar, Poplar to Temple, Temple to, of course, the Snake Eyes to Bellstar, and then finally sending those cards off to make Moon of the Closed Heaven and special summon out Fiendsmith Requiem as a rank 1. Finally, go ahead and tribute that, bring out your Fiendsmith Engraver, move forward your Snake Eyes Bellstar, make Fiendsmith Sequence, let's cycle out some cards, Fiendsmith Lacquer. I feel like we have barely seen Desiree this whole tournament. I said it yesterday, I think there was only 2 Desirees over the course of about 5 hours of streaming. But we'll see if that changes today, but it hasn't yet. So Fiendsmith Track, gonna go ahead and get that Lurie, discard that Lurie, and special summon that Lurie. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's awesome that they're using these cards. Like, yes, you're right. Who uses those cards nowadays? But it doesn't matter. All you need to win a duel is 40 cards. You can take more if you want to, but didn't say which 40 cards, just whatever 40 cards you choose. Now, here's some familiar 40 cards. The Promethean Princess, Restorer of Flames brings back the Snake Eye Flamberge Dragon. We make the Hida, which is becoming more and more popular as just a nice little, material to leave on the field to get a little bit of recursion, take a card out of the graveyard, and just get something better later. But now we're going to see Azamana Mu Arshalago brought out by the Hallowed Azamana. And that's going to be used to bring out Sinful Spoils of Slumber, the sort of Book of Moon card. And that shows that all the duelists today are really trying to like lock in, not give up a single game. And this is a great way to do it because now we've got another Hallowed Azamana. They go ahead and send the Sinful Spoils of Slumber to the graveyard. I'm going to check to see if it's got a graveyard effect. And it does. You can control level 5 or higher illusion monster. You can set the card but banish it when it leaves the field, which gives you another Book of Moon there. So good stuff, full field. Probably the biggest trouble spots are going to be the IP Masquerena, the Ilya Sylvia, and the Triple D Wave High King Caesar, which is go ahead and doing it right now. Now, interesting. We are seeing the detached material, and so that does get rid of the Hornet drone, but it is going to banish. So we may be seeing Sky Striker here? No, it's Tenpai. It could be Sky Striker Tenpai, which is the thing. Tenpai Dragon Genraku using Effect, and that's going to close this duel out. So trying to fight through that field, kind of difficult, but Phoebe did end up surrendering there. So let's see who we've got left. I'm going to go ahead and bring up, who have we not showcased? We haven't seen T2 Scar versus T2 Spectre. Is this a team war? Oh, that's tragic. Giving a little bracket update here for those watching and following along. I Love Synchro, waiting to find out who their opponent is. We've got Lemon advancing, and Jesse Cotton is going to be playing them in the next of the top 16. Jankers moves forward against TTK. We've also got Jun Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Joey Kuzan, Yusif waiting for his opponent, Raffer King versus Jonas, and DD Dark waiting for their opponent as well. But now we got to find out who is going to make it out of Spectre and Scar. So, get to see some great Fiendsmith Millennium stuff here, but looks like it's actually a little bit of a White Forest build as well, because we are seeing Sylvia the White Forest set there into the Spell and Trap Zone. So, just wild start today, as we see an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring go ahead and stop the Fiendsmith Requiem. A really great time to do it. Oh man, glorious, gorgeous Rescue Ace Impulse there. And we have been seeing a little bit more Rescue Ace cards, because as long as you're able to break through, I mean, being able to set 4 pass is huge. Not even an Elflich deck. Speaking of off-the-beat decks that have the word L in them, we got White Forest. Going to go ahead and add that LZ, Azamana of the White Forest. Brings itself out and brings out Arshelia, Sinister Soul of the White Forest, who's discarding a card here to go ahead and add the Woes of the White Forest. And Deception of the Sinful Spoils, finally. So Deception of the Sinful Spoils activated. Such great connectivity. You can't stop this. It's just chain after chain after chain. It shows you that Droll and Lockbird, kind of an important card right now with this format. So Mushar Arshalago going to go seek out the wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Now we're making Sprite Elf. Going to use Hallowed Azamana to reset itself by shuffling back the LZ. Going to use again the Hallowed Azamana, then playing in a chain. Great move as always. You wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Bring out Illusilia, but also have searched out Bellstar. So the game's almost all here. Special summon the great level 2 there, the LZ with the effect of the Sprite Elf. And then finally bringing back Sylvia the White Forest to make another Arshelia. So wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, going to go ahead and banish, return the Deception of Sinful Spoils, and draw 1 card. More cards drawn as well, so just huge advantage here. Again, bring out Diabell, Queen of the White Forest, to bring back the Woes of the White Forest, so even more card advantage. Finally getting to Baron de Flail, destroying the Rescue Ace Fire Engine. Here's Rusia of the White Forest doing its maneuver to go ahead and bring itself. And finally we're live here as Diabellstar crashes down and activate its own effect to go ahead and set a Sinful Spoils card. But this is really cool. Like, White Forest Azamana didn't do a whole lot in the TCG, so being able to see it as like such a powerful and prominent deck is just exciting. We haven't even gotten all the cards that were introduced in Supreme Darkness yet in Master Duel, so only up from here. So setting a few cards and then pass and play back over. So now it's Scar's turn. If this really is a team war, if it's T2 Scar, as in whatever their team name is, T2, versus T2 Spectre, he ain't pulling any punches. Show us a good one. So now with Scar, we know they're playing Rescue Ace, and they're probably playing like a Rescue Ace, like Dia Bellstar variant. We've seen a lot of this, like I mentioned earlier. There's a very popular deck around World Qualifier season in the Asia circuit, actually. So like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Open tournament and Singapore, etc. Because they, Crossover Breakers wasn't out even in Japan at the time yet. And so this is just a really powerful way to get, everything you need out of your Fiendsmith and everything you need out of sort of a Dia Bellstar level 1 fire deck. So again, just huge to be able to see it. But right now, Scar is just holding on to their hand. 5 cards. I'm sure one of them is playable, but look at everything they have to chew through. You've got Dia Bell, you have SP Little Knight, the Sprite Elf protecting it, you have Baron de Flail, and you have the Ilya Sylvia, and he's playing that alert prominently in the same spot as Baron de Flail and saying, may I do this? And I do the same thing. I'm just like, hey, I'm talking to that card. Can I do this thing? Well, let's see what Spectre has to say about that. Spectre really considering the options here. Going to take a look at our bracket as we continue along here. This is one of the few duels that is left, and time is going to get called in about 4 minutes. We're only waiting for that guy versus Kaleo, as well as this one, Spectre versus Scar. So the rest of the top cut mostly figured out. The last one is going to be Arslan versus Tapte, who we got to see earlier. So summoning out another Rescue Ace Impulse, and really just believes in Rescue Ace. So many high rarity Rescue Ace cards, and really high value. Every Rescue Ace gets you into the game almost immediately. But maybe not now when you've got an Effect Veiler saying, we ain't going there. So Scar considering their options. I got 4 cards. Could be a Call by the Grave. Could be a Crossout Designator. Maybe a Book of Moon. Oh, it's Super Polymerization. Now, this could be crazy, depending on what we end up choosing here. Could be even everything from like Guilty Gearfried, because there's 2 warriors on the field with different attributes. I mean, I'm curious. Super Polymerization has a lot of fun options in Rescue Ace, and was actually played kind of commonly like at the beginning of Age of Overlord format. But we're going to fuse the SP Little Knight and the Azamana Ilya Sylvia to make Mud Dragon of the Swamp, which actually can be used. Call Fire, stop the targeting. So the Effect Veiler is going to stop the Rescue Ace Impulse. Brave Firefighter trying to do what it can, but Effect Veiler getting in the way there. But here's the Woes of the White Forest, able to special summon here. And we might actually see a Synchro summon in the middle of the opponent's main phase here. But Scar's going to go ahead and use the effect of the Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Fire! Imagine that! Fire was called. Alright, so able to protect everything. Didn't want to call Divine, huh? Sprite Elf is going to use its effect, though, too. And so this is actually going to be kind of crazy, though. Spectre being able to put out not only a level 2 monster, but also the Tuner as well. But using the Rescue, not to grab anything out of the graveyard, not to try to, like, rip out the wallpaper right as somebody put it up. Pulling the rug out from underneath them. But doesn't grab the LZ, instead just decides to put the Fire Engine on the field. Maybe wants 1 more additional special summon from the Fire Engine. We are going to see the Woes of the White Forest, so special summon and Synchro. It's very rare that you actually just see Woes of the White Forest actually activate here. But, oh, it's Silvera the Wolf Tamer. So, you know what does the target? Book of Eclipse. So Silvera, Wolf Tamer of the White Forest, is going to say, sit, boys, sit. And all of Scar's fine gentlemen here are going to be made to be face down defense position. It's about as close as you get to sitting in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. So we do get to see just a little bit of card advantage here. Good time to play that Maxi, and doesn't special summon, actually. Decides not to. So Rescue Ace Fire Engine, going to be able to bring out just one additional card. And it is an Airlifter. Airlifter is huge. Lets you play a little bit further into the round here. And speaking of further in the round, it's almost over. There's only 1 minute left, and it's going to be whoever ends the turn with higher life points. So as play continues here, Scar is actually in a very good position to advance into our top 16 and be a wonderful winner of a Rescue Rabbit. Remember, if you're trying to get to top 16, maybe you're not going to get beyond top 16 because unfortunately only 8 duelists are going to get out. They're at least playing to find out who's going to get that Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit being the first prize you get if you make it that far. But we do see the Sinful Spoils of Slumber. So many ways to flip things down. It's really good in this format, obviously, because you don't want to let your opponent link summon, synchro summon, etc. But speaking of Xyz summons, here comes Superstar Slayer's Typhon Sky Crisis. Going to be able to bounce one card. And I'm not sure who it is you want to take out here, but it doesn't matter because it's infinite impermanence. Stopping that dead cold. There's 5 monsters on the field. They're great monsters. They're big monsters. They're huge monsters. But there's not really anything further that can actually be done here. That's the big problem. Out of cards completely. There's not anything left. And now I think we are officially at 45. And that is going to be time on the round here. So as this is live, and Scar should be attacking now, regardless of whether they attack or not. Merely by ending their turn, that should be it. Again, single elimination in best of 3, the rules and the format. Just making sure that we know everything about here. It's going to be at the end of the turn. Should be the end of the turn, but let me just take a look at our competitive policy here. So time, highest. Where's the duelist booklet? Oh, here we go. Separate. I want to make sure we're not messing anything up here, but yeah. So at overtime, the game will continue to the end of the player turn, and the winner will be decided by the duelist who has the highest life points. And best of 3 games. Yeah, it's the same. So this one should be over. And I think we're just waiting to see. But at least we were here for it. And yeah, the life point differential should be enough. So waiting to see on the announcement side. Taking a look at the bracket here. Looks like this one, it still says it's undecided, but it shouldn't be because they should be reporting in. Let me just get with our staff here. Oh, looks like, okay, there we go. And so it says Scar surrender, but I think Scar is going to be reporting in, should be reported in as the victor here because they had higher life points, so that should be it. But yeah, just some really interesting looks across the board here. And so let's take another look at the bracket. We'll get that up on the screen for everybody as well. So there is that. And then pulling this up for everybody to see what we've got here as we move into our top 8 now. So we do have our top 8 and still haven't seen the update there, right? If you see right over on this side, but it's going to be I Love Synchro versus Tap to Muster, and then it's going to be Lemon versus Jesse Cotton. We're going to have Shankers versus TTK, Skilla versus Spectre. Okay, that is correct, so we're good there. Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Joey Kwazan. We've got Yusuf versus Yuma. Wrath for King versus Jonas. DD Dark versus that guy. I think we're going to start with Wrath for King and Jonas because I don't think we featured them last round, so we want to be able to see them. But we'll continue to kind of bob and weave as we can here, and just some really incredible gameplay again. This is just really cool because, you know, the new selection pack drops, and there are some formats where the new selection pack drops and people are just like, great cards, favorite deck to play, not going to play in this tournament. What's cool is that we are not seeing that at all here. We're seeing every one of these actually get used. So everything is happening as intended. We've got 3 minutes to go here. So good time to just kind of relax, maybe stretch your arms, maybe get up if you need to. So as we do that, I'm Pheromone here, and you are here now with the top 16 of our Shadow Duelist Tournament for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And our duelists are competing for what? Well, beyond fabulous prizes. One of them, actually two of them are going to go to a separate finals day where that's going to be streamed on the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitch and the official Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube to compete to find out who's going to play the celebrity duelist, who we don't know who it is yet. And they're going to win the mask and a giant card, as well as a number of other prizes. So, again, we've had 2 of them before. The first one, right, was Nocturne. That was Zayn Malik of One Direction, which is, like, mind-blowing still to this day. And then the second duelist was Xavier Woods, right? And he had a certain heel turn running Dimension Shifter and Cashier Services. But we don't know who the third duelist is. We'll have to find out soon. But the only way we get there is by getting right back in the duels, which we're going to start in a moment here. So let's jump back in. And so just some good stuff so far, and very, very excited to see where things go. I think Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! May be on the wrong table. Maybe. You want to make sure everybody's playing the right opponent. So Yusuf and Yuma, that's correct. Rafik, yeah, okay. So some duels. Don't worry, we got staff. They got this. But 2 minutes till showtime, and we will find out what else is coming down the pipeline. But great stuff, and again, just a huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Week. You know, at the end of this week, there's going to be the Team YCS Vegas, and then we've got, you know, some other great activities going on, regional championships everywhere. There was like a 500-person regional in LA and like a 501-person regional in Indianapolis, one of the greatest card game capitals of the world, and it's just wild. You can't do all the Yu-Gi-Oh! At once, right? You may right now be trying to, but you might have forgot that Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is running the Goha Rush Festival. So if you like Rush dueling, you need to go ahead and get Stage 2 because that's this weekend. But then you got to pick, am I going to play the Team YCS or am I going to do the Goha Rush Festival? Technically, you could do both, right? You could do a little Rush dueling in between rounds. But we'll have to see what shakes out for this tournament, right? So much Yu-Gi-Oh! To go. We got to do it one duel at a time, right? One duel at a time. All right, duels should be starting in less than a minute here. And I think, yeah, I think actually maybe the table is different than the bracket. All right, so it looks like they are getting ready to start here. And just a reminder, win 2 games in time, win 1 game and a second game is not finished, and then whatever the life points is in game 2. If you're 1-1, you play game 3 during time. When time is finished, the player with the most life points wins, and then of course you can just go ahead and do the overtime rules into the end of the turn, though. End of the turn. So that's how we ended up with Scar not being the one who advances. But it looks like, speaking of advancements, it is time to duel. We are going right now, and it seems like the first people ready are actually, it was Shankers versus TTK. So I'm going to pull that up, and then we'll feature again as many duelists as we can. But this has been fast. I mean, just lightning fast. This was supposed to end at 45. It did end in time. But still pretty crazy. It looks like Shankers is going to go second here. Maybe indicating some Tenpai. And Shankers starting off with the Molcharmi Purulia. And there's a card. So it's Labyrinth. Ooh, okay. Somebody wants to win a Labyrinth Giant card of playing Labyrinth. Starting with Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. And then set 3 pass. All right, looks like we'll see Raigeki then. Raigeki is going to destroy the Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. And now we're going to see Sangen summoning. This is the real test of Labyrinth. They're known to be able to push back on stuff, holding it down. Maybe they can go ahead and activate Trap Trick or an Infinite Permanence here. But Infinite Permanence not going to help because of the Sangen summoning field spell. Could be a Dimensional Barrier, right? Just call Synchro. And your opponent wouldn't be able to Synchro summon at all anymore. Things are looking pretty good for Shakers there. They're able to go ahead and grab the Sangen Kaimen card. They are going to also use the Sangen Summoning. They're going to add to their hand and then discard a card, sort of mimicking the moves of Mahjong. So they're going to discard a Droll and Lockbird. Using the effect of Tenpai Dragon Genraku, it was added to their hands. They do get a special summon. Pretty quiet on TTK's side. Does activate Max C. That's critical. The Max C is so good because if you draw the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, then you can go and special summon it during your own turn if you've used a Trap card or Labyrinth effect. So that could be huge. Do have level 4 tuner monster here. Oh, but we ain't waiting for nothing, so it's going to be Big Welcome Labyrinth. So open up your loving arms and let's give a big welcome to... Going to be Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, and goes ahead and bounces itself back to the hand. So it's returned from the field to the hand. Labyrinth effect was activated this turn, so you do get to go ahead and activate its effect, special summon itself out in defense position. It cannot be targeted by card effects, and there's the dimensional barrier. Perfectly timed, perfectly sequenced here, because you've got a synchro monster called, but you activated a normal trap while your Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle is on the field, which means in another uninterrupted series of events, you could go ahead and set another trap card, but you can't do that now because the Sangen Kaiman is effectively causing it to miss the timing. So good looking out from Shankers to kind of just like block that out, and probably adding Tenpai Dragon Shundra to the hand makes perfect sense. So you can't synchro summon, but you could maybe create the right combination of cards to get ready for next turn. Shundra certainly helps. You might make Horatic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres and pass, but no, just go into the end phase here. Going to leave the Tenpai Dragon Genroku in attack mode. 0 attack points. But the lady is going to have to do what it can to keep the resource war going. It is the end phase. You might want to activate that face down trap card to try to get that additional trap card from the lady. Just to, it's got to be a different name, of course, but if it's not like a good relevant time to use it, like let's say for laughs, it's a simultaneous equation cannon, and they can activate it, but they can't necessarily banish everything, right? That'd be, what, 6 cards on the field. So, oh, it's simultaneous equation cannons! Okay, well, we don't have to count out the math because there it goes. Commentator's curse, you just know when you know. So, there's Math Labyrinth. That's the thing. That's cool. So, they can trade out the cards, and that's fine. But we're definitely speaking into an existence. We definitely have the Pharaoh's power, just borrowing from the Millennium Puzzle over there. This isn't going to change the math too much except for the max C. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which you could do by 4, 4, 3. Yeah, and so they did that with their own math, but they couldn't, get anything else done there, but they did chain, and so by chaining, it meant that you're not really getting any additional cards off of the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So that's wild. Someone's actually like, yeah, I got this. Let's, it's a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon at this point, but let's do some math. A little math homework on the weekend never hurt nobody. All right, so setting 2 cards, and you gotta hope one of them is Trap Trick or Dimensional Fissure, or that you have access to Coup Clock. But they set 4 cards total. That's a lot of cards. That's like a lot of cards. So let's see what we do, right? So play pass it back over to Shankers. Officially. They were thinking like, is it my turn yet? Yeah, okay, it's my turn, sure. Now I just want to count everything. Like now there's what, 5 on the opposing side and another 4, 5, 6, 7 there. So 12 cards on the field. So you can do like 5, 5, 2 and then return like a 1 and a 2 to make a 3 to banish everything. But you can't because they're unaffected by the Sangen summoning. So little weird, kind of some strange math. But we are going to see Tenpai Dragon Genroku. And special summon himself out to the field. It's a level 4 tuner. It's a great time for Black Rose Dragon, but a better time for Dimensional Barrier if you're a Labyrinth fan. So calling Synchro again, locking them out of their signature strategy. We do see a Bestial Druid's Worm coming down, though. Perfectly timed. There are nothing but dark monsters in the Labyrinth deck. Whether it's the furniture or the fiends themselves. I guess they're all fiends, including the furniture, oddly. But you can't target the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle while there's a face-down card on the field, or at least on your own field, so the Druid's Worm isn't as scary, especially without the ability to perform any synchro summons. Looks like we are going to go ahead and link off here. So, it's going to be a Striker Dragon, actually. And doesn't seem like we're going to search for anything, but could use an SP Little Knight for the non-targeting banish. Although I believe they're locked into dragons because of the Tenpai Dragon Genroku being summoned. But we'll find out shortly as we go ahead and link summon. Nope, so they didn't use the effect, so they are going to get the SP Little Knight, which means they do get the banish. It's non-targeting. Looks like we're going for the face down. Oh, no, it is targeted. Okay, so they are going to go ahead and banish. So it looks like then with Trap Trick, I wonder if they're going to try to set another copy of Simultaneous Equation Cannons. But without the Druid's Worm on the field, it's going to be harder to make the math of Labyrinth. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of the SP Little Knight by bouncing it back to the extra deck. And get rid of the Druid's Worm. It'll still be banished, I believe, until the end of the turn. It looks like not, because it is going to be those targets. Taking a look for some problem-solving card text here. Two-face monsters. Banish both. Okay, yeah, so it's both. You can't do both. You're done. All right, so setting another big Welcome Labyrinth, getting ready for that follow-up turn. All right, the three biggest words in Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter, Extender, Follow-Up. And that's pretty much all of Labyrinth. Every Labyrinth card is a starter, is an extender, is a follow-up card. And TTK really holding this down. Like, absolutely impressed. So, hit the end phase. And that's pretty much all that Shankers is able to do. We know there are no slouch of dueling, but when you're locked out, you're locked out. So TTK drawn for turn here. And main phase 1. They've got plenty of set cards. We know there's a big Welcome Labyrinth. I would imagine probably Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle at this point. Maybe Ariana if you really needed something. But now we're going to see the Sangen Kaimen being activated. And can't imagine what you would be adding from the deck to the hand. Maybe just trying to clear that off the field before something weird happens. But they're going to go ahead and add a level 4 lower Fire Dragon monster, and that's going to be a Tenpai Dragon Fadra. So really just thinking about the next turn follow-up. So now is kind of the moment, right? If you're going to be getting rid of this, you've got to get rid of it now. So Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, going to go ahead and bounce the Labyrinth. Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle back there, which means Lovely gets to use her ability, destroy a card, maybe in the hand, maybe on the field, and if you want to, you could chain Lady, but it would go in defense mode. And we really got to push hard now, but here's the thing, because there is a Lovely Labyrinth, you could just set Dimensional Barrier. That appears to be what's happening right now, activating that effect. Yep, targeting the Dimensional Barrier and just saying, no, I'm going to keep recycling this. You are just a small Dragon Link deck. You are nothing to be afraid of. And speaking of nothing to be afraid of, Lady Labyrinth with her armor is jumping back onto the battlefield, fearless as ever. Setting a 4th trap card there, end turn. Gripping gameplay here. Hey, I'm at the edge of my seat. But that's just because I leaned forward in my chair. But jokes aside, Shanker drawing for turn. And let's see what Shankers has found here. This is difficult. I mean, as a Tenpai Dragon Duelist, what do you do if you can't synchro summon? If you can't, you know, make your melds. What does a Mahjong Duelist do? So we are going to see Tenpai Dragon Fadra using an effect. I feel like you chain the Dimensional Barrier now. You don't want to risk those two being on the field together and any quick effect shenanigans happening. So you do activate Dimensional Barrier, and if the opponent has nothing they can respond to, then it looks like, yep, finally the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle getting to activate its effect. And could be a transaction rollback, could be a Simultaneous Equation Cannons, could be anything, could be just a Welcome Labyrinth. Looks like they're going to set Ice Dragon's Prison. Okay. We see that in Duel Links all the time. It's one of the best cards in Duel Links, and it's still a good card. But holy smokes. That is some sauce here. Alright, so do have in defense mode 2 giant monsters on the field for TTK. But speaking of 2 monsters, I think it's Seal's time. Oh no, it's going to be SP Little Knight, actually. Druid's Worm going to the graveyard will be able to target the Lovely Labyrinth, so going to get rid of that. Or at least try. Any chains here? Nope, just going to let it go. Okay. Just incredible the way that TTK has just masterfully kept the opponent out of a single Synchro Summon. Shankers, like, had the materials. Tuner and non-tuner monster, not a problem. But, I mean, set your clocks back, right? We sprung forward, but now we're rolling back to GXR. There aren't any synchros here. There's just fusions. Well, and some link monsters. Fine, fine. But Bonds Beyond Time, jokes aside, looks like we do see the Tenpai Dragon Chundra And we might see a quick synchro during the opponent's turn. Might be the only way to get that done. So drawn for turn, TTK still hasn't let the flood go, right? Because when you're playing these decks that are very defensive and you're trying to protect your house of cards, once the wind comes in and blows that house of cards down, that's where all the attacks happen. Speaking of attacks, we do see the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle turn to attack mode there. This is definitely some high-level Labyrinth play, that is for sure. We do see the Ice Dragon's Prison. It's going to go ahead and chain the SP Little Knight. I guess taking away the Chundra, really trying to protect it as much as you can. Fadra, remember, is going to protect dragon monsters from being destroyed as a result of battle. But it don't matter. Wow, okay. Just from the infinite permanence, that was enough. Seeing that it was just going to keep going, I assume by banishing the SP Little Knight that, of course, you know, they were going to protect their monsters. But with the effect of that infinite permanence, that would negate that. So you could... It's open season. All right, I want to check out what Jesse's doing just in case our resident Blue Eyes player gets knocked out of the tournament. I'm not throwing any shade there. I just want to see it before it goes away. So we did get to see 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons attack. Taking a look at the bracket update, by the way, to see if anybody's advanced to top 8. Not yet is the answer. And so I'm just going to post that every so often just so anybody jumping into the chat can see it. Speaking of seeing, it looks like we're seeing Sengenjin that wakes from the Millennium starting off. Probably an Azamana Fiendsmith Snake Eye Millennium. Did I miss anything there? Sinful Spoils, White Forest combo. There we go. Words. Well, the word salad does continue because we do see Fiendsmith's Tract activated right after we get to see the Sengenjin that wakes from Millennium. We are live now, so I can turn off the fast forward for a moment. Gonna go ahead and discard Fabled Lurie. I love that Jesse, truly a showman here, bringing out the Blue Eyes field from the 2nd anniversary there. So, Jesse, I know you can't hear me from here, but good stuff, good stuff. All right, so Fabled Lurie gonna go down. Lemon also doing some great stuff, because, you know, I play Millennium, so it's nice to actually see these monsters getting used, again, outside of their own deck. But we do see Fiendsmith's Requiem. Gonna go ahead and go to the graveyard here, and I guess the music should change right about now, right? There we go, cue. So the piano gets a little bit more heavy on this field, and we've got the 8, we've got the 6. Don't know if we've got access to a Golem that guards the Millennium Treasure. It is a level 6, that would be pretty huge right now in order to make whatever. But there we go. No, it's just like, you just like wait, you're like, what is this duelist going to do? There we go. But Fiendsmith sequence, okay, so choosing the safer plays here, or at least to push the envelope. The one thing that's interesting about the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck is, yes, it has plenty of access to interruptions from the hand, whether it's Effect Veil, Ash Blossom, Debir, the Final Being, Infinite Permanence. Pretty good package, right? But if it doesn't have that, you also kind of can tell that your opponent is going to come in swinging, right? Because unless on the other side of this, you know, there's a Jesse Cotton stream that shows that there's like 3 Blue Eyes on the hand, probably just 2 at most. This seems like it's going to be a mostly engine hand down here. And so Lemon doing a great job of preparing. I couldn't imagine a Beatrice right now. This feels like a Triple D Wave Hiking Caesar in order to prevent some of those Blue Eyes from coming down. But instead, none of the above. Maybe a 3 material Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. There it is. So 2400 attack here. Probably the best bet, you know, gives you access to negating things like the Maiden of White. That's 1 negate. The Spirit with Eyes of Blue, that's 2. And then whatever incidental 3rd negate that you need. 1200 damage from the Fiendsmith's Lacrima. And there is that Golem that guards the Millennium Treasure. So I'm going to go and place that in the Spell and Trap. So take another 2000. The only life point that matters is the last one, in Lemon's opinion, as they bring out their big old monster and add the Wedgie Temple. Maybe making a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. I love that Snake Eyes Doom Dragon is like played a lot. Like I actually like want to, I didn't run it in my Exodia Millennium deck, and I feel like that's a huge mistake. Like that just needs to be in there just as like a cool form of spot removal randomly. And like not even playing like the Fiendsmith Snake Eye version. Just do it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? But now there's 2 6s. This feels like a Triple D Wave Hiking Caesar. You could do Beatrice Lady of the Eternal if you wanted to push the combo further, but it appears we are going to push the combo further. Okay, we are not trying to insulate anything. So, detaching material. I mean, it's you know, which lever do I push? Do I push the gas, which is Beatrice, or do I push the brakes, which is the Triple D? But we're sending Snake Eye Ash to the graveyard, which makes me think, oh yeah, wow, Snake Eye Oak normal summon. I'll do it. So Snake Eye Oak going to go ahead and bring back Ash. Ash has not used its effect yet, so say hello to Snake Eye Poplar. Maybe, maybe. All right, there's Poplar. 4,000 life points and a prayer. Still plenty of time on the clock for those playing at home. The clock stops at 2:38, and Jesse scoops it up from there. So whatever it was that was going on, just like we said, just not a lot of points of interaction from the hand, and being able to set up that custom combo felt pretty good. Let's take a look at Joey Kuzan versus Jude Yukio here. It's good to see as many different games as we can. I know that's a big thing in other gaming communities. It's like, oh man, this person got knocked off stream. Well, not on this stream. We're going to try to fit in, again, as many different duelists as possible. And speaking of which, we're going to start off with Joey here. Joey using the Deception of Sinful Spoils, getting rid of a card, grabbing the Hallowed Azamina, bringing out Muashalago, so time for a simple search. Pretty please with Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils on top. Going to go ahead and return that to grab back the Hallowed Azamina and then do the wonderful chain here, right? It's just so cool, again, to see good White Forest gameplay because we really haven't. I guess it's certainly Azamina gameplay, but it's the Diabell Star storyline, not featuring Goblin Bikers. But original Sinful Spoils going to go ahead and send that. Now we get the Snake Eye Ash come. It was enough to make Jesse scoop. And Jude hasn't thrown down a lot of stuff yet, so we'll have to see if there's anything they've got that they can use to stop this standard Snake Eyes combo right here. Bringing out the Snake Eye Oak, bring out the Snake Eye Ash to go ahead and link into Linkariba. Bringing back Poplar to, or excuse me, using that to bring back Diabell Star to bring back Poplar, and then sending the Poplar to the graveyard to bring out Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon and make the Moon into Closed Heaven immediately thereafter. Fiendsmith sequence is next. There doesn't seem to be a Nibiru of the Primal Being here. Maybe they're waiting on the Nibiru of the Primal Being. I mean, there is an Ilya Sylvia as well, so we need 2 cards, not just the 1. And this is definitely like a multi-card format. Other than there's the one-off Dimension Shifter, there's not a lot that just shuts you down in Master Duel completely, unless you manage to make a Galaxy Brain combo to bring out something weird. But nothing weird here as we see the Fiendsmith track go ahead and get rid of Lurine, bring back the Lurine, and link those off into IP Masquerada, which will bring back 2 more monsters, conveniently 2 slots there. Infinite Impermanence going to go ahead and stop the Ilya Sylvia, and there is the Nibiru Primal Being. So great timing to just make your opponent run through almost every piece of the combo there. But we are going to see 1,200 damage, resetting, just trying to build back the combo as much as you can, but a very, very powerful Nibiru of the Primal Being. Just, you went all the way out, and then it went all the way in. But Joey basically wrapping up their turn here with just some defense mode monsters, a single set card, and then setting Deception of Sinful Spoils behind it with its own effect. Now we'll see the Tenpai stuff, and it's live now, so let's see exactly what's about to happen in this duel as Tenpai Dragon Genroku stares down 2 pretty decent defenders in attack mode. Solemn Judgment. No, be gone. Wow, okay. So, big think there, and half your life points may be worth it. We've seen these numbers before, right? 6,800 up there and 4,000 down here. Like, that's been pretty common, All right, we will see Bestial Magnemite being used, and now that's going to go ahead and get rid of the recyclability of that Azamina monster in order to instead bring out Bestial Magnemite and allow a little search at the end of the turn there. But other than that, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. You could attack the Fiendsmith Engraver. It does force your opponent to have to use the resources again, but it doesn't feel great. It's like attacking a Treeborn Frog. It's coming back whether you like it or not. All right, so let's see what Jude searches out with the Bestial Magnemite. Looks like it's going to be a Druid's Worm, so not ready to go in for the kill, or maybe already has everything they need in their hand already. But drawn for turn. Main phase 1. All right. Batter's ready. Let's see the swing and the pitch. Or excuse me, the pitch and the swing. Baseball. My bad. But Going to go ahead and recycle. We knew that they were going to be able to do it. Oh, but the Druid's Worm being searched out there is really clutch because not only do you put the Engraver in the graveyard, but you kind of force this interaction. Now, you did see that Light Fiend return back to the extra deck, so that is a little painful there, but having the Druid's Worm kind of equalizes that out. Ooh, but wow, the mind games. So Triple Tactics Thrust being used. You knew you had the Bestial coming your way, so you activated the card that motivated the Bestial to get to the Triple Tactics talent. Now we're going to see, do we draw? Do we send something? Do we take control? Looks like we're going to look at the hand here. So 2 cards. Ooh, Fadra and Chudra. Yeah, throw away that Chudra, please. People cheered quite loud when it was hit onto the Forbidden Limited list, and I definitely understand. They can sneak up on you. It'll get you. It'll get you. But now we see Deception of Simple Spoils. And we'll see what if it's going to be Muar Shalago or Ilya Sylvia coming out. We haven't seen Moa Regina or Moa Regina like the entire weekend. We do see normal summon Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And now we're going to link off to make. It's going to be Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. And well timed. A lot of fire monsters this format, so we'll bring out Genroku. And that'll at least get you into decent standing. But it looks like Dia Bellstar coming our way. Yep, got rid of the Deception of Sinful Spoils. So able to go and set another Sinful Spoils card. Probably the original Sinful Spoils. And then that's going to send off the Genroku. And then I think we're going into full-on Snake Eye combo from there. Which could be really huge. Can you imagine if you're able to push back the Bestial Druid's Worm into the Spell and Trap Zone? It's going to feel pretty good. So let's go ahead and start off with Promethean Princess Bestower Flames. And it'll use its effect as the 16th finisher. So usually, you know, yeah, it's always time to duel, but it's also time to die whenever that's coming out. Your life points are not long for this world, but we are seeing exactly that. We do see the special summon the Flamberge. Flamberge Dragon is going to push back the Bestial Druid's Worm, so it's not going to the graveyard. It's not going to cause any of those issues. And now it's just time for the battle phase. And pretty good numbers, depends on what happens here, but 200, we know there's a Fadra in the hand. 3,025. So Fadra into perhaps a copy of the Genroku might work. You're not going to get the level extension there, though. That's the only issue. So this is kind of difficult, but we do get to go ahead and set back the Deception of Simple Spoil. That's all she wrote for that turn. Depends on what that last face down card is. We know what it is. It's original Simple Spoil, so there's not really a whole lot that can be done here. And we're just kind of locked. So there's the Fadra. Fadra also on the charts as number 20. Going to go ahead and use its effect to special summon a Fire Dragon. It is the Tenpai Dragon Genroku. So Genroku can go ahead and use its effect, attributing itself to bring out probably Chudra, I would imagine. Oh, but we don't even have to go that far as we use Gold Sarcophagus, banishing Blaster, Dragon Ruler of the Infernos. Really good spot use case of it. To turn that into a search card, right? The way that people are playing the 7th Tachyon. But able to just use that as an easy search, get out Tenpai Dragon Chudra. And there's Tenpai Dragon Chudra. Another greatest hit from the top 20. And so I would imagine you get out Tenpai Dragon Pydra from the Genroku tribute here. And there's the Pydra, so Pydra could be able to grab a number of things. Could be the Kamen, or excuse me, the Sunken Kaimen. But that's enough. Full surrender there, and Joey Kuzan surrendering there, and Jude takes it. So we actually did get to see some really, really good play there. Let's go ahead and take a look back into UC versus Yuma here. Take a look at the bracket, by the way. Still haven't had anybody. Oh, I stand corrected. Lemon has advanced over Tapte to be the first member of the top 8 and the first person to claim a Time Wizard. So remember, we all are coming home with the Rescue Rabbit. These duels are playing for a Time Wizard, and maybe more. So, let's take a look at UC. UC was going to go and start off with Sengen Jin, that wakes from the Millennium. There was going to be a Max C, but the Max C unfortunately is canceled due to Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Beautiful weather outside for Sakura Blossom Jin. We see 4,000 life points go down as both the Golem, the Guards of Millennium Treasure, and Sengen Jin, that wakes from Millennium, gets it done. But wow, dropping the Mulcharmy Fuwalos, hit by the Called by the Grave. It is not going to happen. So 2 monsters hit the Spell and Trap Zone to make Snake Eyes Dude Dragon. It's also a level 8, so you get the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Now that's cool. So now we bring out Snake Eyes Poplar. Snake Eyes Poplar is going to get the Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes. He's going to place the Snake Eyes via Bellstar into the Spell and Trap Zone. Going to go and link that off, placing the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring into the Spell and Trap Zone. That's just fodder for Ash to make Snake Eyes Flamebird Dragon. 2 effect monsters make Moon of the Closed Heaven, to make Fiendsmith Requiem, to make Fiendsmith Engraver, to advance Snake Eyes via Bellstar, to link summon Fiendsmith Sequence, to use the effect to fusion summon Fiendsmith's Lacrima, to go ahead and recycle out Fiendsmith Engraver to the hand, by the way. Discarding Fiendsmith Engraver, you see if we'll go ahead and add Fiendsmith Track, and playing Fiendsmith Track, definitely a Fabled Lurry, discarding the Fabled Lurry to special summon the Fabled Lurry versus its own mandatory effect in the graveyard. So, another link summon here for IP Masquerena. And now the Flamebird Dragon going to go ahead and put out Ash and Poplar to the field. Going to link that off for a Moon of the Closed Heaven. And that is going to go ahead and be supported by a Fiendsmith Engraver, having recycled a number of cards. But now we finally get to see the Desiree, right? We get to see a lot of different Lacrimas. And Lacrima is a great card, too good for the TCG. But it is nice to have that back alongside Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames. We're going to bring back the Snake Eyes Flamebird Dragon, who also puts out the IP Masquerena. Let's go ahead and negate the effect of the Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames with the Fiendsmith Desiree to be able to link it off for a 2-material Apollos of the Goddess. So 3 negates, one of which is 2 negates in one. So we are going to see special summon there. They're going to go ahead and try to use the effect of the Kashtira Fenrir. Kashtira Fenrir being thwarted there twice now by the Apollos of the Goddess, who is now at 0 attack. We do see the Fiendsmith's Track grab from the Fiendsmith Engraver, which grabs Fabled Lurry. I almost said Fiendsmith Lurry. It feels like a Fiendsmith card, right? But just some standard great plays here as SP Little Knight goes ahead and banishes Fabled Lurry, brings out the Tenpai Dragon Pydra, number 90 Galaxy Eyes, Photon Lord negating its effect, Tenpai Dragon Pydra trying to do what it does best, but actually we're going to go into Moon of the Closed Heaven and bring out a Fiendsmith Requiem ourselves here. Fiendsmith Requiem going to tribute itself to special summoning a Fiendsmith monster, that being Fiendsmith Engraver. Fiendsmith Engraver is going to get equipped with that effect. And then going to toss the Requiem over at the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord to clear that card right off the field. Now there's 2 level 6s. That'll make Fiendsmith's Lacrima by banishing the Track, actually fusion summon the right way. Brings back the Fabled Lurry to make SP Little Knight to finally banish the Fiendsmith Sequence. But it looks like that'll be negated as well. So take a 1200 and slowing things down here. Turn changes back over to UC. Lower life points, but better cards as they sit there with the Desiree, going to negate 2 cards, so able to stop that completely. And then being able to recycle the Doom Dragon there. And finally bring out another Doom Dragon since it was just freshly recycled, placing that monster into the Spell and Trap Zone since it was negated. And this is pretty much enough to go ahead and close it out as is. So we're going to go ahead and special summon all that, and then battle phase. Yuma is crashing out here. From great gameplay from UC. Really creative use of the Doom Dragon. I think Doom Dragon definitely is my MVP of the day. Those who know do, or duel, I should say. All right, so have I Love Synchro. Let's see if any Synchro shenanigans are actually happening here. I believe I Love Synchro actually already eliminated from the tournament. So I think this is not an official tournament match, so we're going to turn this one down. Because it is... Tapte. Yeah, I think they're just playing this one out for fun. Perhaps. Let me see results. Yeah, this one, okay, yeah, this one is not, this is not an open game. So we're just playing Barrier Statue Beatdown, which is really cool, but it's not an official tournament match, so we do want to keep this moving. So let's take a look at Bronus versus NBA Rafa. And again, you can see the bracket in the chat there. I just reposted the link again. But yeah, I'm like, wait a second. Speaking of time, by the way, we've got about 15 minutes left on the clock for this round. And we are again in top 16, moving on to the top 8. And when we get to the top 8, we're going to definitely principally focus, kind of slow things down, but I just want to make sure that we feature as many of these great competitors as we can. And speaking of great competitors, looks like Rafa's going to start off with the Dia Bellstar, the Black Witch, setting the original Sinful Spoils. Met with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So it feels kind of expensive, right? Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, you only use it once, so you feel safe. But that first hit, man, 2 for 1. But a little bit of rebate there to draw 2 cards with the Triple Tactics Talent. Get the Pot of Greed effect, drawing right into the Fabled Lurry. And Fabled Lurry is going to turn into Fiendsmith Requiem the old-fashioned way. Alright, kicking an overdrive so we can continue to catch cool duels. we've got Rescue Ace. Okay, so Rafa's still rocking the Rescue Ace and going ahead and making out Fiendsmith Sequence. Fiendsmith Sequence is going to get negated, though. So a little bit of a choke point there with the Infinite Permanence, stopping it dead cold because Bronus didn't have any cards in the hand. He did have a Fiendsmith Engraver in the graveyard and went ahead and made SP Little Knight to go ahead and banish the Ash Blossom. Not sure if the Ash Blossom is going to be that much of a threat. Now you can't call by the Graveit, and you also can't do anything with something like Hida, the Fire Charmer Ablaze, but we just see a Tenpai Dragon Fadra attack, and we are live from there. So Fadra kind of indicating that there's not anything going on. Bronus playing Tenpai feels pretty good to play Tenpai Dragon Fadra because it can't be destroyed by battle, so you're not doing too bad. But Rafa has a very powerful and explosive deck in the form of Rescue Ace. So we'll see if they're able to jump right in. They got 3 cards. I mean, all you need is an Airlifter to just drop yourself in. Could be a 1-for-1. But speaking of ones, let's go ahead and banish the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye to return Diabellstar the Black Witch back to the deck. Search out a Snake Eye card. See which kind of level 1 fire we grab here. Actually, level 1 fire we grab here is Rescue Ace Hydrant. So is going to use the Hydrant probably immediately there. And that's good. That's good to see for a Rescue Ace fan. You know, you want them to be able to use the Hydrant, do something. But Bronus still actively competing in this tournament. Not ready to give it up. So, cards activated, but we are going to see the Call by the Grave. And we're banishing the Fiendsmith Engraver, actually. Interesting. Ooh, and then Forbidden Droplet. So, gonna go ahead and get rid of the used up Called by the Grave to also negate the effects of the Rescue Ace Hydrant there. So, not gonna get a single new monster. And losing the Fiendsmith Engraver. So, a lot of the recycling shenanigans have stopped. Dead cold. We do have Alert. So, with the Hydrant on the field, this is going to be a full alert. Can be searched from the deck to the hand, pretty much anything you need. And it is going to be Rescue Ace Turbulence. I don't believe there's 2 Rescue Ace cards in the graveyard. There's the alert for sure, but I don't remember there being another one. Duel did just get started, though, so that could change in a moment's notice. All right. Haven't seen anything as crazy as Rise to Full Heights. But we're getting there. We've seen some weird stuff this duel, or excuse me, tournament, I should say. Shadow Duelist is going to have his work cut out for whoever they might be. So Rescue Ace Turbulence, going to go ahead and plop down on the field. I'm going to set 4 Rescue Ace cards. So Contain and Emergency. So CE. What are we spelling here? Rescue. Okay, so CER, Sir, or Care. Okay, Sir, CER. Yeah, I guess it's almost like CPR, but that's a different department, right? Not the fire department here. Rafa has access to some great cards. And looks like we're going to go ahead and bring out Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. So, again, I talked about this. Taking the fire monster out of the graveyard may not have been the right move, right? By banishing that, this doesn't let you link climb as much as you wanted to. Looks like we are going to see Diabellstar the Black Witch, because that Ash Blossom just kind of hopped out of the hand. And where we're going, well, your guess is as good as mine. But we are going to bring out Diabellstar the Black Witch and set the Deception of Sinful Spoils. So it seems like a Zamina theme here. We're going to tribute a monster. Do we get rid of the Diabellstar? Yeah, we get rid of the Diabellstar. Just wasn't sure about getting rid of the Ash Blossom there. Oh, but we have Retaliating Sea, actually. How interesting. So we haven't seen Retaliating Sea in a bit, but again, whenever your opponent activates a spell card, the special monster, special summon that card from your hand. If summoned this way while this card is facing on the field, cards don't go to the graveyard. You get banished instead. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you get an Earth Insect that has 1500 attack or less. Man, I wonder if there's any world-famous Earth Insects in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Earth Bugs. No, can't think of a single one. All right. Joking aside, there may be a Max C coming our way, but it looks like just 250 points of damage here with the Hita attacking the Fadra there, and it's a little scary because you basically have Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure on the field, right? Those cards are going to be going to the banishment instead of the graveyard. Unless we just link it off. No harm done. Alright, so here's Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. That was a Max C joke, by the way, just in case. But Hita to Hita. And using Rescue, though, very intelligent to go ahead and bring back the Hydrant to protect that Hydrant from, well, you know, changing hands or having additional Fire Monster. Is that the only Fire Monster in the graveyard on that side? There's no way. Yeah, there's still a Turbulence, actually. So, but having the Hydrant back on the field, very important because all of a sudden the Contain, way stronger than it once was. So we are going to see Turbulence. I don't think it's a Rescue Ace Mirror match, can you imagine? But it looks like Contain is going to go ahead and turn that right off. So since its effects are contained, right, just go ahead and grab the Fire Hose and just blast Heat of the Fire Charmer ablaze until she's no longer ablaze. That means nobody is getting to special summon monsters that point. Well, special summon a monster to a zone that she points to. No Ash Blossoms for one side and, well, not much of anything for the other. But we do have Emergency still, hadn't activated that yet, so probably going to bring out Preventer, maybe Tribute Preventer, and then use its effect to go and add something else. Could be something else entirely, right? Could just bring out the engine, maybe the Airlifter. It is Airlifter, and that is going to tribute off the Rescue Ace Hydrant. It is during the end phase, so Rafa not as worried right now about Bronus making some sort of retaliatory action. It's just a single set card that can't be activated right now. Grabbing another Emergency, thinning the deck down. Play passes. All right, well, let's see what we draw here. We know Emergency's in the hand. Now there's one new card added to the equation. Max C, speaking of Earth Insects with 1,500 or less attack. Whatever that card is that's face down is live. Certainly something that Bronus could activate, but chose not to. Going to go ahead and banish the Emergency. And going to set the Contain back to the field. Unable to activate it this turn, though, because there is no Rescue Ace Hydrant on the field. Bronus, kind of not in a great position, not in a bad position, right? You do get a little bit of follow-up play if the Heat of the Fire Charmer Ablaze is destroyed. So that's helpful, and that set card could be very powerful. The Max C is going to instigate draws. But if Rafa did nothing here, like just set a card, no draws, nothing happens, no resources, what will Bronus do? Taking a look at the bracket, by the way, our top 8 is starting to take form. Jude did win, and Yusuf also advanced. They're going to be playing each other. Lemon waiting for their opponent. TTK waiting for their opponent as well, between Skill and Spectre. Lemon waiting between Jesse. Oh no, Jesse got actually eliminated from the tournament by Lemon, so Blue Eyes couldn't make it. Wow. So now it's no clear favorite, you know, no dark horse of the tournament. It's just duelists doing dueling things. All right, we are seeing Emergency here. We knew it was down. But let's go ahead and wind back this elaborate chain. So Emergency, let's special summon and tribute. So we're going to see the Rescue Ace Hydra, probably get rid of the Airlifter, makes sense. We're going to Contain, and that's going to negate the effect of that Ablaze again. So Hita not heating things up. Just going to set a single card there on Bronus' field. I imagine at this point, you know, all you can do is end, but this is still very dangerous, very much at the edge of the building, sort of looking down into traffic, because if you take one further step, there's nowhere to go but down. If Rafa is able to start things with this Rescue Ace Hydrant, and it gets to anything, be very problematic, but since there's no other Rescue Ace monster on the field, Bronus able to kind of keep the tempo of the duel down, activate the Infinite Permanent, just smooth it out, put that bubble coat right over the field. So we'll see some bubbles, shall we? And unfortunately, that's going to keep Rescue Ace Hydrant sort of chilled out. Again, it's always good when you have a great tournament archival record, right? Many wins under your belt, but a reminder that just because you're one of the best duelists in the world in terms of raw analytics doesn't mean that you, well, can sleep on the job, right? Every single duel counts. So great work for all of our competitors that made it this far and haven't gotten any further, but they will be going home top 16 again with at least a Rescue Rabbit plush. Those things are so cute. Don't get me started. Rescue Rabbit definitely rescueder than the Rescue Ace monsters. All right, jokes aside, we are going to go ahead and bring out the Tenpai Dragon Fadra with the Heat of the Fire Charmer ablaze. And now we are going to see Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames here. So this could bring out another Turbulence, or really a lot of different cards could come out of this, seeing as it is a fire deck. Let's see what this Royal Princess is going to decree. Reappears on the field. Looks like it is Turbulence there. Turn an air into ace. So now with Turbulence, you don't have a whole lot of cards. We haven't seen the Rescue Ace HQ used to go ahead and reset anything. We are seeing a Link 4 here. It's going to be Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. And Salamangreat Raging Phoenix may get swapped off. We do see that sometimes for World Sea Dragon Zealantis, just to kind of move things along. Whatever that face-down card is, it's not relevant yet. Don't think it's a Daruma cannon, right, to flip things face down. But there's World Sea Dragon Zealantis, so Fire and Water working together as friends. So crazy that the materials for Zealantis are just 1+ effect monster. So a Link 4 to a Link 4, that's we don't have a lot of those in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, so it's an exceptional card. Ooh, but we're going to negate this, slowing down the OTK by using the Forbidden Droplet, negating both monsters' effects, I would assume. Or just the one at least. So pour one out. Very forbidden. All right, so 1250. Oh, but the combo had only just begun. Bronus may not be able to survive all of this, able to really hold out. But the very last piece of extension there, the Fiendsmith cards. Good looking out as we see Fiendsmith Engraver get that Fiendsmith track, but immediately going to go ahead and put the Fabled Lurry back in the deck so you can activate the Fiendsmith track. Okay, that's good. That's a good Yu-Gi-Oh! And so, with that in mind, we know what's coming next. Spell card activate, Fiendsmith's Tract. Let's go ahead and add the Light Fiend Fabled Lurry from the deck to the hand and discard it to special summon it with its own effect, right? It just reads like the anime at that point. Because it's true, we have seen it, and it is really cool that Rafa was able to just work and work and work and let all these different things go to not like trick the opponent, but make the opponent think, this is what I have, right? This is what I have. And that's enough because he's broken through, and so now we're seeing the Fiendsmith's Requiem with no cards on the field, no cards in the hand, and yes, there's some negated cards, of course, but it would be pretty easy because what are we looking at right now? 4250, 5250, 6250, and the 600. So, oh, there's that button, right? I could just click the info button and it'll do the math for us. There we go, 6650 math. Thanks, Master Duel. But jokes aside, yeah, that is not quite game. Still going to need about, what, 1,500 life points, and not able to bring that down. Now, obviously, there's things like Fiendsmith Sequence that would be able to make like a Fabled, excuse me, a Fiendsmith's Lacrima that could do 1,200 damage, but we're still out of reach of even the 1,200 damage. Obviously, 1,200 damage, a big number. People did not like that during Sword Soul format. Sword Soul 10E, very great deck. Oh, it is 1,100. Okay. So, yeah, Fusion Summon, and that should be it. A little complicated way to get there, but maybe not able to do it. Okay, so going to go ahead and banish and just setting up the trap. So instead, since there's no access to a Lacrima, or at least a way to get Lacrima to the grave, relying instead on just good insulation, untargetable monsters, and get it done. What's the opponent going to do? They're going to draw one card, and just off of the contain alone, they should be fine. Should be okay to thwart whatever plans opponent Bronus has for them. Now, I believe time did get called, so I believe Bronus is already going to be out there. All right, the next round then is going to start. So, yeah, this one is done. So that means that, yeah, looks like Rafa should be advancing, and they are. So Rafa King did advance, so we can go ahead and close this one out, because that is game. All right. So moving on to top 8. And we're going to be beginning in about 3 minutes here. So let's talk about everything going on. Because just as a friendly reminder, maybe you're just joining us. Maybe you just opened up a YouTube video, walked off for about 2 hours, came back, and I'm on the screen for some reason. Well, hello, friends. It is the Shadow Duelist Tournament, Day 2, Top 32. And we've moved through our 32 to 16, now going into our Top 8. Been a lot of famous duelists, been a lot of interesting gameplay. We've seen some like weird cards, so if you scroll back at that VOD, there's definitely some things to say. But what are we playing for now? We're going into our top 8. Then, of course, we're going into our top 4. We're trying to find out who the finalists are going to be, who challenge each other for that spot against the coveted Shadow Duelist number 3. There's no details. The only thing we know is red, right? First one purple, second one green. We know red. I don't know if that's a spoiler for anything, but we do know red. But we are going to go ahead and kind of slow things down. We've been jumping around, but I think it's time we see some very dedicated, you know, like full matches at speed. So instead of jumping around, we'll probably follow some 2 out of 3s, but we'll also give you some bracket updates. Speaking of bracket, let's go ahead and jump over to that now so you can see who our top cut is and how they got there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that over onto the screen now. And so there we go. Pull that up and then move this a little back. A little too far back. So we do have I Love Synchro, who has beaten Uzoria and Tepnemuster so far. Lemon, who had to crawl over Earl GB, and Jesse Cotton. Then we've got TTK, who managed to beat Juan Ailon and Schenkers. Then Spectre is fighting him, who had to topple his own teammate Scarblack and Skilla last round. Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! Still hanging in there, having beaten Yanter and Joey Kazan, as well as Yusuf, who had to beat SN Kage and Yuma. Finally, we just saw Raph win things out against Jonas and Fluxcap earlier, and then Dark beat that guy and Jason Wanger in order to get this far. So again, I Love Synchro versus Lemon, TTK versus Spectre, Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Yusuf, and Rapper King versus Dark. Top 4 is going to be the final round of this video, so we're in top 8. This is us. This is next round, but this is going to get saved for that later date, which you'll have to follow along the official channels for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel in order to find out when that event is going to be. So go ahead and take a quick look over here. Yep, okay, so it looks like we are just about ready to go here. And 1 minute until then, so we've seen a lot of Yusuf, we've seen a lot of Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think we'll take a look back into, I think Shoma Yusa is probably the person who we've seen the least gameplay from, and that might be where we go ahead and start things off. We're also looking for weird stuff too, but I mean, that's up to the duelist, right? They don't want to put anything on the line, but they did run Rise to Full Height, so maybe weird stuff is in. Who knows? Who knows? All right, duelists are getting locked in though, as we move to top 8. Oh, I guess it wouldn't be Yusa, yeah, because Yusa's actually out of the tournament there, so it'd be, that spot is going to be a different one. So Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! Yep, they're playing. Okay, looks like it's time to start, so we're going to start actually with T2 Spectre versus TTK. Got to see a little bit of their gameplay before, and now we're just going to have a very, yeah, someone did defeat Jesse Cotton. He was playing Blue Eyes White Dragon. Amazing gameplay. We got to see, you know, 3 Blue Eyes just bam. Well, 2 Blue Eyes and a Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, an honorary Blue Eyes monster. But some really good stuff there. All right, so Labyrinth gameplay. It's still here. TTK trying to win a Labyrinth Giant card, since that was announced as the prizes with Labyrinth. Gonna go and discard Stovey Torby for big welcome Labyrinth, and can't activate it yet since there's no Cuckoo Clock in the hand. Those are the names of the cards. It's always funny when you're commentating like Prank Kids or Labyrinth or any of the ones with the silly names, because you're like, sure do have to say some very silly words in a very serious voice. But sets 2 cards and passes. We know one of them is Big Welcome Labyrinth, so let's see how Labyrinth works. against this format once again. We're going to start off with Welcome Labyrinth and not Big Welcome Labyrinth. That makes me feel like we're probably going to special summon like an Ariana. We are seeing a Max C here. Labyrinth, pretty trap heavy, not a lot of points of interaction. Sometimes there's an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Looks like we're going to see a Max C to a Max C, which is really cool because it makes you cross out Designator. But there's the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, so sort of draws for me, not for thee, if that makes sense. We're not done yet. Possibility, nope, play passes. Let's go ahead and resolve Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Going to take a lap around that Max C. So only draws for one player and not the other. But you still get a powerful special summon here. So we're going to see that Welcome Labyrinth bring out the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. Decided not to use the big Welcome Labyrinth. Maybe holding out to bring out Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle at a moment's notice. And then bounce the Lady Labyrinth in a moment. But we're seeing Bonfire activate. It makes me think Poplar. There's Poplar. So, Snake Eyes Poplar appearing on the field here. Old, reliable. Every deck's got like one really solid, reliable card. Snake Eyes Poplar is a great example. Tenpai Dragon Genroku, kind of a Swiss Army knife as well. I think for Labyrinth, it probably is Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, even though it's not like the primary boss monster with the animation. It is just so reliable. So it's funny to see those two monsters staring each other down and being like, oh, so you're the good card of the deck. Yeah, you too? Hey, not bad. But we'll see what that actually means for the duel, since right now, TTK is sitting on a 3,000 attack monster that cannot be targeted. But that's pretty much it. And now it's Fire King. So Fire King Cortial Alconix showing up on the field here, getting ready to destroy a fellow Fire King. Or Fire Monster. Looks like we're just going to say goodbye to the tiny little level one, swap it out for another. So goodbye, Snake Eyes Poplar. And hello again, old friend. After the Ponix is added from the deck to the hand by Cortial Alconix, going to go ahead and target itself. Poplar is going to go back into the Spell and Trap zone. Alright, so Legendary Fire King Ponix did see a destroyed card. But I think it's time for Big Welcome Labyrinth. This is a little difficult because remember, a couple things going on here. Ooh. Cross out Designator on... No way it's on Big Welcome Labyrinth. No way it's that heads up that he's like, cross out Designator. I ran a Labyrinth card because I saw you playing Labyrinth earlier in the tournament. Right? Right? Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Okay. That's fair. It's an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And that's fair just to say, like, hey, I don't want to deal with this right now. So Big Welcome Labyrinth. Let's go ahead and open up our arms again. Give a big welcome to, I assume, Lovely Labyrinth. Lovely Labyrinth would feel pretty decent now, but the problem is it destroys cards on the field. So instead, it looks like we're going for Ariana the Labyrinth Servant here, which is smart because maybe you need to go ahead and draw and set a trap card with the effect of Ariana. Right? Maybe a little love and care is more necessary than going into warfare. Man, we just dropping bars. Jokes aside, though, let's go ahead and use the Legendary Fire King Ponix effect here. And that's going to get chained onto by Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. And so, did we use the search effect or did we use the draw and set? Looks like we activated... Doesn't say which effect they chose. The play passed over to Spectre again. Considering what they are going to do here. Do they have something they want to chain? No, okay, they finally gave up. We'll right-click hurt nobody, so we drew a card. Are we going to set a card? Looks like we're not setting any cards, so there are no trap cards in the hand. We know there's at least the Labyrinth monster in there, the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, with no face-down cards on the field. Doesn't feel as fun, right? Doesn't have that built-in protection from being targeted or destroyed. So, speaking of destruction, it's all Fire Kings from here. So, activating Fire King Island directly from the deck by using Fire King Sanctuary. Seeing a lot of chain blocking around the Lady Labyrinth, the Silver Castle, and just as some very savvy members of the chat pointed out, earlier in the duels, we've also seen Labyrinth gameplay. You do have to chain the Lady Labyrinth at Silver Castle, because if you don't, they do get an extended trap card. So good looking out on the cross-site Destinator, and good looking out those of you who are hanging out with us. But let's see what comes next here. Use Fire King Island. Go ahead and destroy the Fire King Courtier Volcanics. Using that to grab the Sacred Fire King Runix. And so since it's been added to that private knowledge area, it's going to have seen. Totally saw it. It's like, yeah, I was totally there when she got destroyed-ish. And so its effect is going to activate. It gets a special summon itself, destroy another card. Sometimes we see the Arvada destroyed. Sometimes we see the Kirin destroyed. See what it is here. But Courtier Volcanics is going to resolve first. I'm going to go and special summon the Fire King High Avatar Garunix. Speaking of Garunix, let's go ahead and destroy a Fire Wing Beast or Beast Warrior from the deck, and that's our Kirin. Going to gain its attack points, and then use that effect of Kirin to go ahead and destroy another card here. Let's go ahead and special summon out the Fire King Courtier Volcanics, and then that gets rid of the Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. So no Labyrinth monsters. Of course, you can drop down in defense the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, but with only 2,900 defense points, it's not nearly equipped enough. It doesn't have the stats it needs to just take a full-on Fire Blast from the Garunix there. So fortunately, the Trapped Kingdom is maybe getting set on fire here. And these decks came out relatively at the same time. Both of them are meant for like these long-term grind games. And we know how good Fire Kings are because it just blasted through the last format at YCS Birmingham all the way to a first-place finish. But now we're seeing Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, interesting enough, using the Link Karibo off of the Ponix summon. So there's your Dark. Grabbing Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. Excuse me, we're hiring over here. Perhaps you can help us. Really? Ariana just like, yeah, I don't mind. Having swapped sides, she is going to be used as the Link material for a Link 4 of some kind. Is it Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess? It is. It's going to be a 3 material Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess at 2,400 attack. Plenty of negates there. And well-timed because it means at this point, you can't even use the Labyrinth in your hand. Now we're going to see the Sanctuary, I imagine. Could be the Ash Blossom sent, so this could be the Ash Blossom Joy Spring. Sent away. Good looking out for the Call by the Grave for the most part, but now I think it is all downhill from here. Snake Eye Oak being brought up. Remember, this is main phase 2, or excuse me, main phase 1 of turn 2. There's a battle phase to start. There's definitely a battle phase, and that means that Spectre is going to be able to attack. So while they had to get the team kill against Scar, maybe it was worth it as they continue to advance in the tournament. All right, so Snake Eye Oak. Going to go ahead and send a card to the graveyard, Sanctuary be gone, and probably going in for the Flamberge, I would imagine. There's not a whole lot of reason to go to Snake Eye Ash, but it looks like the resolution's happening now. No response from TTK, so it is the Flamberge Dragon. Not a lot left in the deck to use with Snake Eye Ash. Maybe you're running Birch. Who knows? But we are going to go ahead and see additional activations here. So, what does Flamberge Dragon do? It's grabbing the Stovey Torby! Oh no, Labyrinth Monster is safe. Stovey Torby able to special summon itself back whenever you activate some Labyrinth card effects, but difficult. If you're a Labyrinth fan, TTK is trying their hardest. But the power we're feeling right now is the full-on friendship of fire monsters. And so IP Masquerena, sticking the tongue out, a little wink there to be like, hey, remember me? Well, Snake Eye Flamberge Dragon certainly remembers that it is going to bring 2 level 1 fire monsters to the field, and we'll probably see a Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames shortly. So this also may just be enough to get it done. You don't get access to the Divine Temple of Snake Eye, obviously. If you get rid of that Fire King Island right there, that could be problematic. If you're destroying your own monsters, you want to do that, but not like that. So Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames is going to show up. You could just bring out a big old monster at this point. Summon in attack mode. I would imagine it's a Flamberge Dragon to just keep the combo safe, keep things moving. Go ahead and place the IP Masquerena into the spell and trap zone, and then enter the battle phase and just start swinging for the fences. But before we do, Link summon here, possibly for the Ambler Whale? No Ambler Whale. It's going to be Salamander, Raging Phoenix, also a fire monster. You are locked into fire monsters with Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flame, so there's always that order of operations problem. We know this order of operations. One becomes one. This reincarnation Link summon is not a reincarnation. It's a transformation into World Sea Dragon Z Lantis. Oh, yeah, the tournament has been a blast so far. Our resident Blue Eyes player got knocked out, but we are still seeing some great stuff, and the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess being used. Of course, we knew that Lady Labyrinth, the Silver Castle, was there in the hand this whole time. And so it's going to go ahead and resolve. But yep, unfortunately, Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess just had to say no. And that's enough. Yeah, TTK calls their chips in. Take a look at our bracket here. Let me go ahead and move things around so you guys can see. We don't have anybody advancing yet. So let's go ahead and peek in on our other active duels here. Take a look at I Love Synchro and FSN Lemon. So don't be sour. The duels are just getting started. Again, if you're just joining us, hello. We are going to be playing through top 4 to the final 2 duels, but the final 2 duels will be playing on a separate day, so stay tuned and stay watchful of the official channels for the Twitch Yu-Gi-Oh channel and the YouTube Yu-Gi-Oh channel. We'll post links to those in the chat as we get done and in the VOD description. But it means that we're not playing the finals today. That's going to happen on a much fancier stage. And speaking of fanciness, do we have some craziness? Yeah, we do. It's Time-Tearing Morganite Barrier Statue Beatdown, something that got, I think, 24th place in our last tournament that we held on the stream. So, yeah, just barrier statues. Time-Tearing Morganite, of course, gives you that second normal summon, but you don't get access to any effects that activate in the hand. So that's a little weird. We are seeing Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos using its effect to discard a fire monster, destroy a card on the field, which is that barrier statue. So great weird plays for both duelists just trying to get this stuff. Like, you've got to do what you can, right? You don't want to just go home. Oh, look, a barrier statue. I guess I lose this tournament. Or wait. Dragon Rulers, right? So we are live here. They got to just decide what to destroy. So what are we destroying? I mean, is it enough to just do barrier statues? Is it? I mean, there's a version of Ryzel that I want to play where you just side deck into barrier statue of the Infernos. And you're just like, hey, fire monsters. Fire monsters? Who knows? We'll see, we'll see. We'll leave that in the lab, and it was enough. Wow. That's all she wrote. So, really, really great gameplay from I Love Synchro, showing they love synchros, but they're also here to win this tournament. So, let's take a look then at this duel, since we haven't seen these. I know we were supposed to show like a little bit more concerted gameplay, but some of these duels are so short. We don't gotta. We can just show as many duels as we want and can. Well, speaking of our next duelist, let's see what we have here. All right, so Dark selected to go first. Going to fast forward to catch us up in a real-time gameplay. And looks like it's going to be Elzdat, so we're looking at a Zamina there, revealing it to special summon itself, and then going to go ahead and fusion summon for a Zamina Muar Shalago. Using that to search out Deception of the Sinful Spoils. Great continuous spell card, but this is going to get a little bit difficult because the Droll Lockbird, or it would have, Called by the Grave. So Called by the Grave will banish that, no effect. Let's see that hand get rid of that Diabell Star. Now it's time for our own effects here. Deception of the Sinful Spoils. Going to go ahead and grab the Hollow Zamina. Hollow Zamina getting played. Imagine for an Ilya Sylvia, just so you have that additional negation effect there, putting that defense mode, not too bad. Gonna go ahead and reset the Muar Shalago, grabbing the Hollow Zamina again, and that's end phase, kind of a simplified game state here, with just that single negate and nothing more. We know there's a Raigeki, but we're gonna activate Deception of Sinful Spoils and then try to fuse here, but negating the fusion spell, using the effect filler into Link Karibo, and then using original Sinful Spoils, gets stopped by the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So hold the phone there, it's just Link Karibo and nothing else. We got ourselves a match here. That's cool. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It's just, you know, with Yu-Gi-Oh being so many different cards and so many different turns, for it to just kind of wind down to, I attack with Link Karibo. It shows you that it really can change in a moment, right? And so all these duelists out there who miss this sort of golden age of slow, methodical gameplay, it is out there. It just takes a second. It takes the right duel. And these are some of my favorites. So, Dark draws for turn, 2 cards in hand, staring down Link Karibo in a single set card while containing 1 set card on their own field. Can they get the combo started? What can Dark do? Well, they flip up that Deception of Sinful Spoils they set in the previous turn. now what shall I do? I mean, you want to fuse, but it is kind of worrisome when you've got whatever that face down is. But now we're going to activate the Hollow Zamina. And so Muar-Shalago is going to appear on the field. So a little bit of a fusion find. Going to go ahead and grab out something out of the deck. And that's going to be the Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Not getting the full combo there. Obviously, Deception of Sinful Spoils gone, so don't get full value there, but not too bad. But looks like we already had Diabellstar, because you know when that card just jumps out of the hand, what's next? Diabellstar the Black Witch. Alright, so her effect activates. And that's going to be for Sinful Spoils of Slumber. I love the Searchable Book of Moon. It shows you how careful these duelists want to be. It's not just about full combo, it's also about, like, I need to survive one more turn. And being able to reset that card as well is pretty neat. But recycling the Azamina card, LZ, Azamina of the White Forest, is going to get you the Hollow Azamina back. So you're also going to use the Wanted Seeker Sinful Spoil. It's going to go ahead and banish that. And return the Deception of Sinful Spoils to draw out one more card. So great resource management, now up to 5 cards, 2 giant monsters on the field. And still some access to stuff. It looks like we're going into the battle phase here. I would imagine Muar-Shalago is going to attack. And Linkuriboh has no choice. Rafa has to tribute. We'll do that. Okay, they tribute. I'm just like, no, I don't, maybe there's something Galaxy, right? Maybe they want to take the damage, but looks like it's going to be 2,500 direct. Snake Eyes Flambird Dragon all the way at the top of the screen there. Taking a moment just to kind of express themselves. Like, oh no, this hurts. I don't like this. But now, do we do anything further? Does Dark just pass for turn? Yes, no, maybe so? We're almost at the top 4 already. What a lightning fast tournament we've had. This round in particular is going to end in about 28 minutes, maybe 27 by the time I'm finished this sentence. But looks like we're going to see a set card. Worried about the infinite permanence, goes ahead and just lets everything else go. So at that point, it does seem like there's not a lot of resources left. It's cool to link Linkuriboh's in the graveyard. Rafa draws for turn. Gonna flip up the Deception of Sinful Spoils here. And can they fuse or not? Depends on what they have right now. Rafa passes turn with just the single Deception of Sinful Spoils on the field. I think that is a concession in a different form, right? You don't have the attack points yet. Maybe you won't. So, just ending the turn with 5,500 life points, of course, bigger than the 4,500 attack points that are on Dark's field collectively between the 2 monsters. But now, we're going right in the battle phase. There wasn't enough. So it's going to be 2,500. Rafa may get one more chance to hold on to this very game. 2,000 attack. Kashtira music starts to pick up speed. We are on pressured planet Raid Salt, so Rafa is definitely feeling the pressure here as the Snake Eye field is torn asunder. Setting one additional card, Dark ends their turn and play passes back over to Rafa. Draw. Rafa has to consider something. This is it, right? You got 1,000 life points. That's the strength of 10 anime protagonists at 100 life points each. Show us what you got, Rafa. Well, first off, we're going to see a Diabellstar come down. The Diabellstar, the Black Witch, appearing on the field. And now using its effect to go ahead and set something. No interaction, no response there from Dark. Whatever those 3 cards are, saving it for something else. We don't know what's in the hand. Or at least I don't remember. But for now, Rafa just has to proceed carefully, and the attack point reduction is too much from the Muar-Shalago. At the end of the turn, just using the effect of Deception of Sinful Spoils from the graveyard, paid his cost, setting it back. But now, Woes of the White Forest being activated. There is Muar-Shalago on the field. A Maxi is going to be activated, but it's in the end phase. Certainly a powerful Maxi, because that's a double draw. But too little too late, we shall see. I would imagine could be LZ. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we need the tuner there, so we are going to grab the Sylvie of the White Forest. And now Sylvie of the White Forest with special summons are going to add a White Forest spell or trap. And then we can go ahead and special summon out little baby LZ. Sweet, innocent. She wouldn't synchro summon your whole family away. But just the mere sight of her is enough for Rafa to concede this game. So let's get a quick bracket update as we're going here. There are still some duels in progress, though, so let me go ahead and jump in because it looks like nothing's been decided yet. So TTK versus Spectre going to the next game here. Likely their final. Bracket update is no update. No one has advanced from the top 8 into the top 4 yet. Top 4 being our final round for the day. Again, 45 minutes, single elimination with its own special set of time rules where life points matter at the end of the turn, not the phase that it's called. We're going to see Clockwork Knight and set 4. Okay, TTK really going in for the barrier statue beatdown. Maybe it goes all the way. We shall see. So Sylvie of the White Forest adding Tails of the White Forest. LZ of the White Forest going to go ahead and discard the Tails to special summon itself out, grabbing LZ Azamana of the White Forest from the deck to the hand. Tails of the White Forest is going to be set via its own effect since it was paid as a cost. LZ Azamana of the White Forest revealing itself to special summon an Azamana of the White Forest monster, and then synchro summoning into Archelia, the sinister soul of the White Forest. Both of their effects activate, so we're going to say goodbye once more to Tails of the White Forest to add Woes of the White Forest. Probably the most woes we have seen in a single tournament. It is woeful in these woods. Now we'll activate the Deception of Sinful Spoil Spectre, getting rid of a Ghost Ogre, and it's Apophis, the swamp deity. Oh my, Odeon! And then paying life points up the wazoo, 3,000 for Wall of Revealing Light. So nothing is going to be able to attack if it has less than 3,000 or 3,000 or less attack points. So now we're going to go ahead and see the SP Little Knight maybe banishing the wall. No, gets rid of the Clockwork Knight. Now Sylvie is supported by Rushia. Rushia going to discard the Woes of the White Forest, which will send itself back to the field. And now another Link summon here, this time for Sprite Elf, which we know can bring back level 2 monsters, so it'll bring back the Azamana. So LZ Azamana of the White Forest going to do a little fusion summon here during the main phase. And I saw many materials there, but it looks like, really? Wow, Azamana, Soul, and Iskathon. You never get to say that every day, but fusion summon, target a card on the field, and ordinarily said, but Runic Destruction. So this is a duel for sure. Usually you see Runic and White Forest, not Runic against White Forest. So what shall the Runics destroy and which cards will be banished? TTK just fighting for their life. This is a wild turn. Bringing out Sleipnir, the Runic Bane. So big old boy in defense mode. Just, you know, insert horse noises here. But, oh, speaking of horses, there's Baron de Fleur. And now we see the Millennium Engine again. Millennium has just been so popular this format, especially with the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon recently being added to Master Duels. So, Baron de Fleur going to go ahead and try to destroy that face-down card. It's chained. It's a Runic Slumber. We'll see if we do want to negate it. Targeting the Apophis, the Swamp Deity. Got to decide if we want to negate that. Looks like we're going to let that resolve. So, losing some cards, and I did see a Hallowed Azamana there. Let's go ahead and go to the clipboard to see it was Hallowed Azamana, Wanted Seeker Simple Spoils, and the Called by the Grave. Now paying 2,000 life points, Spectre is going to advance the Sengenjin that wakes from a Millennium. And that's going to grab the Golem that guards the Millennium Treasure. So, Sleipnir the Runic Bane. Going to go and use its effect, make a little token here. Tiny token. Don't have to worry so much about the attacks. Unless Baron de Fleur decided to destroy something else. Maybe we've forgotten about the Wall of Revealing Light, but they do need to deal with it. So, Wedge Temple being added from the deck to the hand and activated immediately. So, Wedge Temple going to go ahead and place some cards face down. I think we are about to see Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, which could be used to target and push back the sort of indestructible Apophis trap card. I mean, the Odion support just got here, but TTK doesn't want to wait. Just wants to use the Apophis cards available to them now. And so, yeah, the trap became a trap, literally. Now we're in the battle phase, and none of these monsters can attack because Wall of Revealing Light is there. So we might have forgotten about that. But during the main phase or battle phase, try to face up monster your opponent controls. And, yeah, I think it's going to be good unless you decide you want to negate it. Now we're just going to banish it until the end phase. Great getting rid of the level 8 there, by the way. It means that there shall be no interruptions. Nothing coming out of the overlay network at all. There could be some really good cards that come out of there, like the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Wow, okay. This is some Yu-Gi-Oh! We got here. So TTK thought he was dangling by a thread, but apparently he had everything he needed with that trap card, but kind of has to deal with the Baron de Fleur now because you can't just wait. You can't wait to deal with that. So hopefully he has something that can be done. Oh, okay. That would do it. That would do it. So we are going to see Superstar Slayer Sky Crisis. Typhon. So Typhon on the field. Going to go ahead and detach material. Imagine goes right for the Baron de Fleur. Although it can't activate its effect. Still goes for the Baron de Fleur no matter what. I mean, even the music is cheering for Typhon. Alright, Sprite Elf about to use its effect to bring back LZ Azaman of the White Forest. And using that Imperity with the Woes of the White Forest probably means we're going to have a quick Synchro Summon. And I would imagine you probably are going to make the Lucia Sinister Soul of the White Forest. Maybe Silvera the Wolf Tamer. We could be saying sit boy sit. So Synchro Summon. And it is Silvera, Wolf Tamer of the White Forest. All right, heal. LZ Azaman of the White Forest is going to chain its effect there, and so is LZ of the White Forest too. So before monsters are made to sit down. I guess it is, you know, generally the vibe. Just be like, hey, down. Finally, here's the effect resolving. Not sooner than we added Sinister Spoils of Slumber, which is another way to get your opponents to just kind of take a nap with their monsters. But the battle phase was skipped, so there was never going to be any battling anyway, because that is the penalty you pay when you play runic cards. Play passes back over. And now, Tyrant's Tirade! Wow, okay. Contributing 2 monsters. Tyrant's Tirade. Now, if you forget what Tyrant's Tirade does, again, effects of effect monsters that activate in the hand or field could not be activated. Just, no. So with Wall of Revealing Light and Tyrant's Tirade and higher life points, you can just kick back, relax, and if you're TTK, I don't think you have to do anything more for this duel. If you're Spectre, though, you've really got to find a way to press through. And it has to be from something that doesn't activate in the hand, it doesn't activate in the field. So you could Synchro Summon, maybe. But that's about it. If you're not running any Spell and Trap based Spell and Trap removal, TTK could ride this out to victory. Now, in terms of time, this is going to end at 28 minutes past the hour, so there's 16 minutes. 16 minutes is way too long for this to be finished as a photo finish, right? You know, higher life points at the end of the turn. But, this is very cool. This is really neat to see all the twists and turns of TTK's deck. So, if they don't carve out a spot in the top 4, they at least did a great series of games today and obviously yesterday for them to get this far. But we do see the Arcelia. I mean, we're putting stuff in the graveyard. That's helpful. But that's it. What else are you going to do? Set a card. That may be enough. That might just be enough. All right, so let's take these Millennium Monsters and convert them into Moon of the Closed Heaven. What's weird, though, is that if you use Moon of the Closed Heaven to make Fiend's Requiem, nothing happens. So TTK, draw and return. Love how hyped the music is. This is a Feather Duster away from game. But many people are not putting Feather Duster in the main deck, and this is the cost. TTK just sort of leaning back, hanging out, just doing it. Millennium cards certainly have been instrumental across this tournament. A very small package of just like 2 Sengenjin, 2 Golem that guards the Millennium Treasure, maybe like a Wedju Temple. And we haven't seen any Exodias, but we have seen a lot of Millennium cards, very much in the sort of Patrick Hoban-esque era of the NAWCQ, one of the earliest duelists to have competitive success in a very high-profile tournament, just using Millennium monsters outside their own deck. But with Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, it's a much different ball game, because just activating that Wedju Temple, right, you go Sengenjin to Golem, Golem to Wedju Temple to 2 monsters in the Spell and Trap Zone. Snake Eyes Doom Dragon gets it done. So setting a card. TTK still in this duel. Okay, this is cool. Spectre just slowly passing the turns, figuring out what am I going to do here. I guess I'm going to draw. That might be it. Standby phase. What you got, Duelist? What you got? What you got? It's just, you know, if you don't have Spell and Trap-based Spell and Trap removal, it is really difficult. And so the other thing, too, is if this is game 3, they can't surrender. They can't just, oh, I'm going to concede, conserve my time and concede. Setting a card, Tyrant's Tirade. That's apparently enough. Kind of its own little Mystic Mine. Seen a lot of trap control decks, actually, in day 2, especially in our top 16 and top 8. Take a look at the bracket, by the way. We do have 2 advancements. Yusif did conquer Jude Yu-Gi-Oh! And Lemon did beat I Love Synchro. So the winner of this duel will play Lemon. And the winner of the Rafa versus DD Dark duel play Yusif. This is anybody's game. I mean, this is a paper-thin margin. Razor thin. All right, pass it again. Turn 11. Draw. Now, you have to be very careful when you set additional cards. But here's Runic Slumber to free up a spot now, because that's the big worry, is you don't want to completely clog up all your spell and traps. And the opponent can't do nothing. So just using Runics to just banish stuff. We're going for the deck out. Oh, we're going way for the deck out. So 14 cards. I'll get that on the screen so that it can't be seen. And so now it's 11. Deck points, we'll call them, right? 11 deck points left. Now it's a standby phase. I did lose an Effect Veiler, another LZ, and a Called by the Grave. Now we're going to set an additional card. Battle phase skipped. Always going into that battle phase. Very good methodical Runic play. Not waiting for it to be skipped later. Just clicking battle phase and then end. All right, 10 deck points left. Going into the standby phase. Spectre just holding on. Has to find an option, but also could have that option banished from the deck. What cards could they have? What secrets lie in the deck, right? Their deck has no pathetic cards, but it does contain. Well, we'll see if that even matters, though, because with the Runic cards banishing stuff from the top of the deck, let's say you do have Harpy's Feather Duster. Let's say you got Heavy Storm. Doesn't matter if you lose both. All right. Drawn for turn, TTK continues. Their tournament life depending on whether or not they can either deck their opponent out or hang on for an additional 11 minutes. I think decking out probably a little more likely than 11 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. 9 cards in the deck remaining for T2 Spectre. Goes to the standby phase. Main phase. Do they have anything? Yes, no, maybe so. Just what a cool concept, by the way, to just be like, you know, it's combo format. We don't do combos here. We set continuous trap cards. And apparently that works out pretty well. Okay. I mean, I'm just as dumbfounded as Spectre. What do you draw, main deck? Well, they do have Simple Spoils of Slumber. Gonna go ahead and flip a monster face down. And okay. And I'm not making light of the situation at all. It's just, you know, what does each interaction do? Are you freeing up slots? Are you putting cards in the graveyard? Well, I guess Spectre's got his own game plan, but TTK has theirs. Draws for turn. Again, 9 cards left in the deck. End phase. Wow, just draw, pass. I mean, look at the clipboard on the bottom right side. Draw phase, standby phase, main phase, end phase. Haven't seen that level of gameplay since Mystic Mine. All right. T2 Spectre draws for turn. Did they draw the out? 8 cards remaining in deck. Monsters that are 3,000 attack or lower cannot attack. Monsters on the field or in the hand cannot activate their effects. All right, turn change. Draw. Are we going to see the same turn? Standby main. End. You are absolutely right. For those following along, it would have been probably the best idea to come at the Wall of Revealing Light with the Baronne de Fleur earlier in the duel, but saw that set card and just need to get rid of it first. And when you see the Clockwork Knight reducing down those attack points, that is definitely going to help reduce the attack of monsters. Maybe there's a monster with over 3,000 attack. That might have been the solution, but now it needs to be even bigger, as Clockwork Knight is making monsters on the opponent's side lose 500 attack and 500 defense. These are some of the oldest cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. Definitely Wall of Revealing Light. I mean, that brings back, you know, Xiaogan the Spiritualist and Last Turn vibes for the old heads in the room. But 7 cards remaining for T2 Spectre. Take a look at the bracket, by the way. Still no update on either side. So the other duel is going on just like this one is. All right, 8 minutes left on the clock, 7 cards left in the deck. Which is just insane that we're getting that low. I mean, draw, standby main, end. Yo move. Wow, just fearless. TTK's only enemy is his internet connection. As long as he doesn't get disconnected, he may clinch this out. Karibos continue to tussle. I do love the brand new, the little portrait frame of just the detonating Karibos just sort of going. And they actually go out of order, so sometimes they'll like pass each other. And that's pretty much all that you can look at on this field, because other than setting a single card, T2 Spectre may not be doing much else. They pass. All right, turn change. Certainly enough cards left in the deck here for... They have 25 cards left. Runic Golden Droplet, that's going to reduce the deck by 5 whole cards and cause the opponent to just have 1 card left in the deck. So banishing a bunch of different options, all monsters. Not sure what's going to be left. Oh, and then Runic Smiting Storm, choosing 1 because it doesn't have to be the whole number. It could just be 1 card. Now we do see 1 activatable effect here. Of course, the Sylvie can recycle the Synchro on the field, but that's an effect in the graveyard that doesn't do much else. So, goodbye, Rarshilia, and then hello, Sylvie. And there's the banish. We actually get to see the freeze! Pass turn, standby, main, end. You rarely get to see this animation, especially with this many cards on the field, but T2 Spectre will draw for turn. And then, well, it looks like Duel Monsters just froze over. Wow, deck out finish at this level of play. That's insane. Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. So it looks like all the duels are done. And that was going to be I Love Synchro there. So Lemon, we already know one. So that was the TTK. So TTK is going to play Lemon. And let me get the bracket up here. They haven't updated it yet, but pretty easy to follow along. Because we just saw the winner here. So we know that TTK won and is going to be playing Lemon. And we know that Raph for King is going to be playing Yusif. And each one of these duelists has had an incredible tournament run. Remember, we're only going to be streaming the top 4. So once we get to the top 2, that is going to be saved for another day. Which day? The day that we find out who Shadow Duelist number 3 is. But for now, we are going to be clashing with the best of... I'm very curious to see TTK's second duel here. We know that Yusif versus Raph for King is also a great duel here. But it's not every day that you get to see that sort of level of, like, make or break. If he draws the Feather Duster, I lose gameplay. And that is just... It's riveting. It is riveting because you're like, oh, well, he's not doing anything. I'm like, yeah, but if one thing happens, does it goes his way, that's pretty rough. So, let's also talk briefly about the prizes that they're going to be competing for. because prizing is definitely getting even more interesting now. So everybody in our top 4 is going to walk away with a Steam code for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection. We've been streaming it on and off on this channel. Been huge into Capsule Monsters GB. Might even stream that later today, time permitting. We'll see. Don't hold me to that. But loving that game for sure. There's a lot of great games in there. But you also get the Time Wizard plush, you get the Rescue Rabbit plush, and whoever wins these duels not only gets to compete on that separate, event with the Shadow Duelist, to compete, because we're going to take top 2, then they're going to fight, and then whoever wins that is going to go ahead and take on the Shadow Duelist, just like the previous formats. But they still are going to get a Steam Deck OLED 512 gigabytes, which means they could be playing the Early Days collection, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Maybe you're a Duel Links aficionado, and you were excited because right now, the Goha Rush Festival's going on. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with a Steam Deck in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Looks like we should have everything done here for now. Let me just double check to make sure. In-room replays, TTK 1. Was that just the first duel? We're still going? No, Spectre 1. We still got time. Wait a sec. We're not in top 4 yet. Okay, that's hype. So we're not in top 4 yet. We haven't decided our top 4, which means TTK has to go into this duel again, having shown his opponent all of that, and T2 Spectre has to think to themselves, do I add the Feather Duster or not? Okay, well that duel is beginning right now, and there is only 3 minutes left on the clock, and it's going to be life points based on the end. It's single elimination. Somebody's got to go home. Okay. TTK switching up the field here. Oh, the music. All right, Snake Eye Ash stopped with Ash Blossom. Ash to ash, dust to dust. And no response on there. It is going to stop that effect. If you're able to get another face-up card on the field, could be pretty troublesome. We are going to see Fiendsmith's Tract. Now here's an interesting thing. You must have already had the Fabled Lure in the hand. It looks like you did. Do you send away the Fabled Lure, or do I guess you go Fiendsmith's Requiem, then special summon out Fiendsmith's Engraver? Oh, but since there's already the Engraver, we're going right into the Fusion Summon now. This is interesting gameplay for sure. So Fusion, Fiendsmith Engraver and Fabled Lure combined. Fiendsmith Lacrima on the field now. Going to go ahead and special summon back. Just being really methodical here because you don't know what a Galaxy Brain level duelist like TTK is going to do. Like, what is this deck? I don't know. Maybe it is Ursardic. Like, what could you possibly predict at this point when he's playing the Time-Tearing Morganites and all the craziness and Tyrant's Tirade and Wall of Revealing Light? Are we going to say a performance deck? I mean, I have no idea. Let's simmer down. Let TTK's cards do the talking. Speaking of cards doing the talking, Lacrima's going to say 1,200 right to those life points. And then Fiendsmith Requiem going to drop down to the grave card. It's where coffins go, right? Bury that coffin. And Fiendsmith Engraver says, rise from your graveyard. Okay, this is insane. Like, just the anticipation. What is T2 Spectre going to put out on the field? And what is it going to get met with? Final duel of our top 8. All right, so Snake Eye's Poplar hitting the field, grabbing out Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. Makes me think we probably have original Sinful Spoils already. Or maybe just do a combo extension, maybe trying to get out the Snake Eyes Diabellstar. We'll see as we activate the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye which monster comes out. It probably feels like a Diabellstar. Here it is, powering up the Snake Eyes Poplar, since there is a monster in the Spell and Trap Zone. Rise of 1,100 points from the field spell there. Still not big enough for that Wall of Revealing Light if it shows its head once more. Oh, so it is time on the round. Good to see you, Lemon, by the way. Great performance, by the way, so far, if you are that Lemon. But now we're going to see... Haven't seen time officially called yet, so we do have to wait for the tournament organizer to call it, but it basically will be about now, and if this turn does end, TTK may get locked out from a single play. Wow, okay, so incredible performance so far, but it does look like TTK may not get to advance any further in the tournament due to time in the round being called soon. Hey, cool. Well, Lemon, we'll be commentating your duel soon enough. Depending on who wins this one, right? Let's see. Yeah, that should be the end. But I don't see them having officially called time. But I think we're about a minute past, actually, at this point. So I want to say Spectre's going to win, but we'll just leave it on here for now. So we get a little preview of what our next duel is going to look like. All right, I'm just making sure that they know what's up, because it should be done. Just making sure our tournament staff is aware. That way we don't miss out on anything. Nice, fair, and fun Yu-Gi-Oh for everybody. As the combo continues, it just may not mean anything. The reason why I slowed down is because with the 6,800 life points and based on the rules of the tournament, I believe we are done. Yep, because 45 minutes after 43 minutes past the clock will be 28 minutes past the clock, and it's 30 minutes past the clock here. So waiting to see if the results are reported. Nothing on the bracket there. Your guess is as good as mine. As long as they duel, might as well be talking about it. So IP Masquerena slapping down on the field. Nice little setup there with the Flamberge Dragon hitting the graveyard. Okay, so it is. Okay, there we go. So that makes sense. There is that. So we are going to the next one. So let's go ahead and slow our roll, recover, and find out where we're going next. Because what that means is, since TTK did have lower life points, Lacrima closing out that duel. Just what an incredible duelist, though. TTK, my hat, if you could get off of this headband, my hat is off to you. All right, so our top 32 is moving on. So Spectre is advancing. He's going to be playing Lemon. Hi, Lemon, since you're in the chat. And then Yusif versus Wrath for King. So we are going to go ahead and watch the Lemon Spectre. Always loved it when, you know, you get like a little keepsake, whether you win, lose, or draw. You get that duel of your own to showcase your friends. Be like, yeah, I did this, and I did that, and here it is online. So, yeah, we're going to cover that. And then we'll probably jump over to Wrath and Yusif so we can say farewell to them as well. But just some incredible gameplay. What a tournament. All right, let's go ahead and let's stretch out because, again, this is going to be the last one we have got. So, all four duelists, I mean 4, right? Numbers 4. They're going to get the Time Wizard plushie. They're going to get the Rescue Rabbit plushie. And they're going to get the Steam code for the Early Days collection. But what are we playing for now? Well, besides stretching out, making sure our blood is flowing, and hopefully the duelists are doing that too at home, we are going to be playing for that Steam deck and the coveted spot to compete at the later tournament, which is awesome. So remember, that is going to be, I believe, I don't know when they're going to air it, so I would just stay like watching like Twitter's official Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel channels and whatnot. But whoever advances here from our top 4 at a later date will be playing in a finals, and whoever wins then will be playing our Shadow Duelist, which is just mind-blowing. It's going to be so cool. But I'm really excited. But none of that happens until we find out who our final 2 duelists are. So let's go ahead and jump back in, find out who's going to win our top 4. And just an incredible run for each of these duelists, just as a recap again, because it took them a lot to get here for sure. Oops, that's the prize one, isn't it? Yeah, we want this one. So, you know, again, Lemon having to beat Earl and Jesse Cotton and I Love Synchro and now playing Spectre. And of course, Spectre having to take on that amazing TTK duel and Skilla, as well as Scar Black in the Team War. Yusif having to beat Jude Yu-Gi-Oh!, another streamer, Yuma39 and SN Kage. And then finally, Wrath for King just working their way up against Dark, Jonas, and Fluxcap. So really great run for each of these duelists. They should all be proud of themselves, but they don't want to be proud of themselves. They want to reveal the celeb and win the mask. We'll be starting here pretty soon. Looks like it's going to be starting in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And what a tournament. Happy Sunday, everybody. This has been a great one. Hopefully you're having a good time. I'm Pheromone. Here is the Shadow Duelist. And congratulations, Rafa, for kick. Good to see you, too. It's always great. The main reason people are like, why are you doing this, Pheromone? I'm doing this so you guys have something. You have coverage for this because you deserve it. After all the dueling and all the intense action we've been seeing, everything I duel for you, if that makes sense. And so to see that you guys are here and you're just like, okay, cool, you're enjoying this too. I'm glad because you're putting on a great show for me, so I'm trying to put on a great show for you guys. So just some great dueling action. So again, this has been a really cool top 32. We've had Blue Eyes, we've had Barrier Statue Beatdown, we had Wall of Revealing Light. We also had like really weird stuff like Rise to Full Height. What is this tournament? It's a good time. That's what it is. So I'm looking forward to whatever happens from here. And just like they're saying in the chat, may the best duelist win. Good luck to all of you. Absolutely good luck to all of you. And then I guess good luck in your future adventures. After the top 4, we'll do a brief recap. We'll close it out for the night. And yeah, just incredible. What a day. What a duel. And lightning fast too, by the way. We managed to do top 32 to top 4 in like probably about 3.5 hours by the time everything is said and done. Which means I can release you. You can all be free to enjoy whatever you're going to do on your Sunday. Maybe you're getting ready for YCS Vegas. I will see you there in just a couple of days. Maybe you're going back to Duel Links to get ready for the Goha Rush Festival. Still getting my rush power. I think I'm like 73 out of 100, so we'll get there. But it's dueling time, so we can start. Let's go ahead and check out Yusif versus Rafa since they already are ready now. So Lemon, sorry about that. We want to go ahead and grab the games that are going. All right, top 4 begins now. Best of luck. All right, let's get it going. All right, so, wow, starting over the goal of the Guards, the Millennium Treasure getting blocked by the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Just what? Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit doing really good stuff. Now an Effect Veiler crashing down the Snake Eyes Poplar. Just, Rafa not going to give a single card to Yusif. No. No, I said no, you cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! But you can try, and you probably will, because remember, you can still go ahead and link off the Snake Eyes Poplar into something like the Karibo. Or Diabellstar, the Black Witch. So Diabellstar hitting the field, and it depends on if there's any other points of interaction of the hand. Maybe Rafa jumping the gun there. Tried to stop what he could, but maybe not. Using the Effect Veiler to go ahead and stop Diabellstar. This may be the end of the turn. Yusif doing a great job of putting out monsters despite the points of interruption, but at a certain point, you're going to lose your concentration, right? You're going to run out of cards that could be played because of all the interactions, but oh my goodness, had the card, already had it. Original Simple Spoils bringing out the Snake Eye Oak. Yusif just having everything. Rafa having everything else, but it isn't enough to stop the onslaught of cards. So now things are really heating up here for this Fire deck as we see a Link 2. And that is going to make Moon to the Closed Heaven. So let's change attributes here, right? Just like a Ryzel deck, Fire to Light, Light to Fire. Let's go ahead and light the fire with Moon to the Closed Heaven, bringing out Fiendsmith's Requiem. And then have a nice little salute for our coffin going to the graveyard. Bring out Fiendsmith Engraver. Now Fiendsmith Engraver going to go ahead and get equipped with that coffin. And we don't have Necro Equipped Princess yet, so we're going to go ahead and just bring out Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon. We do have Aerial Eater, though, actually. Really huge. If you didn't catch that in the last pack, it's here. But discarding to grab the Fiendsmith's Tract. I think we're going to go and activate the Fiendsmith's Tract now and grab a copy of Fabled Lurry. And then Fabled Lurry going to slap on down. Fabled Lurry is such an interesting card. I'm really looking forward to the additional Fabled support we have. I'm curious to see what like Fabled Fiendsmith looks like. I mean, this kind of looks like Fabled Fiendsmith, but you know what I mean when the additional support cards are released. So now Fiendsmith's Sequence is going to get Link summoned out here. So it is time for some fusions. We'll probably bring out Fiendsmith's Lacrima. This is where, like, you have to make very careful decisions. You don't get a next round. This is single elimination in the top 4. If you want to compete and be streamed before all the excited viewers trying to find out who Shadow Duelist number 3 is, you got to win this match. So we do see the Desiree being put out there. Oh, I know, Robbie. I know. Being robbed of everything. Rafa trying their best, but it is still best 2 out of 3. Speaking of 2, let's see IP Mascarena for him, but it's not just best 2, it's best 2 out of 3 monsters total, because Snake Eye Oak and Snake Eyes Poplar will be joining her. And that Desiree is able to negate something like a Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames effect, including like an Infinite Impermanence too, but let's go and see that Promethean Princess. You can always tell by the link arrows, right? Right down. You can also, if you look at the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a little hint there for you. But Promethean Princess going to go ahead and special summon the Flamberge Dragon, place the IP Mascarena into the Spell and Trap Zone. We haven't had that come up yet, but we are going to see the Fiendsmith's Desiree get equipped with the Fiendsmith Sequence, now negating, we just talked about that, the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. Oh, and now you can use a little extra material from the IP Mascarena and the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, make a 2 material indestructible copy of the... Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. I was going to say Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, but instead we're making Link Karibo. Now, okay, so it's going to be a 3 material Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess that is also indestructible. There we go. So 2400 attack, triple negates. Feels pretty good. Getting a wind monster out of a fire deck by turning off the effect of the Promethean Princess, and then putting the IP Mascarena in the Spell Trap Zone. So very much like the NAWCQ board, right? This is the ending field that so many duelists have used to carve out their spot in dueling history, whether they made it to Day 2, Top Cut, or the World Championship. This was the field for 2024 summer. Well, let's see the field for now. Normal summoning that Fabled Lurie. I mean, you can make it. Yep, we are still Link summoning for Fiendsmith's Requiem. We gave up our normal summon already. And I don't think we're going to see double summon. And even if we did, you can negate it with Fiendsmith Desiree. So activating Fiendsmith's Requiem. I think that's going to call upon Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess to be like, you know what? 1 arrow out the quiver. Leaves her with only 1,600 arrows left, but oh, there's the Infinite Impermanence. This is also going to force out the negate from the Fiendsmith's Desiree if they want it to resolve. There's only 1 card left in Rafa's hand. So instead, Eusephus decided, I'm going to let that go through, that's fine, and I'm going to save my Fiendsmith's Desiree for that final card, whatever it happens to be in the hand. And there's no Lacrima of the Crimson Tears yet. Fiendsmith Engraver on the field. Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon using its effect, going to advance the IP Mascarena on the field. Maybe a quick Link summon now. There's not a card in the hand for something like Nightmare Unicorn, but at least you can get something out. Instead, we are going to go ahead and Link off the Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon to make SP Little Might. And so just using that, since it did use the sacred materials, right, it actually is designed to work with IP Mascarena. So it's going to go ahead and banish the Fiendsmith Engraver. So you see kind of putting Rafa back against the wall there once more. And remember whose turn this is, right? It's Rafa's turn. It's not Yusif's turn, even though all these summons, all these Link summons, all these banishments. There's only 1 card left. Well, unless it's something incredible, I'm not sure if Rafa's going to be able to get out of this duel alive. But the good news is, always game 2 and maybe 3. Got that beautiful Sky Striker music. But just as I said, that Commentator's Curse, it comes to a close. So let's go and see how our other duelists are doing as Rafa and his opponent access their side decks. Oh, they're not. Okay, so checking out the in-room replay. So it looks like Lemon won the first duel against Spectre. So they must be side decking right now. And Yusif won the first duel against Rafa. So both of them could lose this next duel. So again, this is so critically important. Every single moment of this is so important. It's so difficult. Why? One mistake, even something that's not a mistake, one choice could set you down the wrong path, right? You always see those memes on the internet where it's like, you know, do I go through the light side or the dark side? That's a Yu-Gi-Oh card, by the way. One that's not officially published. It's just from the Yu-Gi-Oh GX anime. But you do have to decide which way you're going to go. And if you go this way, then you didn't go that way. Maybe that way was the way to the Shadow Duelist Tournament. And, well, I guess we'll have to see. But just good stuff. Good stuff. Don't want to miss live gameplay here, so I think we're going to wait for these duelists to come back. We do have like 3 minutes to side deck. Looks like Lemon is back. Did, again, win that first one, so T2 Spectre fighting for the life. I guess we'll showcase their gameplay. And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get a match. Maybe this will be the end of the tournament. Maybe Lemon wins. And maybe Yusuf wins again, and that is the end. Making sure they're sitting in the right spots. I think Spectre's supposed to be on the Lemon table. There we go. So they jumped over. All right. Well, whoever's ready to duel first, that's what we're going to stream. I'm going to just go and click, 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 spectate, spectate. But I guess they'll take a second here. We should too. It's been very exciting. I'm really happy to see where the format is. Obviously, a little bit more Blue Eyes would be nice, but without the Primite engine, difficult deck to play. Certainly, big salute to Jesse Cotton for trying to rock out the Blue Eyes as much as he could in this tournament. Looks like Lemon going for the run back here against Spectre. We'll see if Spectre chooses to go first and or second. All right. Looks like Spectre going first here. Both haven't even had time to change the accessories, but it's going to be Sylvie of the White Forest starting things off here. Beautiful, beautiful Royal Ultra there. But do we stop it? Could be Ash Blossom, could be Effect Failure. Maybe you don't want to get baited out in the Triple Tactics talent. We haven't seen a lot of Triple Tactics talent. Mostly it's been combo decks with Called by the Grave and like a crossed out Designator, and that's it. I guess we've seen like some here and there, but it's not like 3 ofs and 40 card decks where you're always seeing it every time. But it does look like Lemon does choose to use the Ash Blossom Enjoy Spring. So maybe walking into the Triple Tactics talent, maybe not. Spectre deciding to reveal the LZ, Azamana of the White Forest. And we'll see if they go ahead and perform a fusion summon there. Could be a synchro. Gives you access to both, right? Non-tuner monster, level 2, perfect level, fits in with all the others, like the original LZ and Astellar, which is technically the original Dia Bellstar. But let's go and see the synchro summon. It is Arcelia, Sinister Soul of the White Forest. And LZ is Azamana of the White Forest, also going to activate its effect to add another Simple Spoils there. Should just give me all the Sinful Spoils, all the White Forest cards, even a Light Spellcaster. Kind of a neat combo. I mean, you could use that to add, like, Maiden of White. You play Blue Eyes, Azamana. That's basically what you're getting out of, like, Blue Eyes, Azamana, White Forest, is make this monster and make your other combo. But looks like we set Wedgeo Temple as the cost, so no Millennium monsters for the moment. We are more concerned about just getting good stuff. Could be a Tales of the White Forest, could be a Woe of the White Forest, could be a Light Spellcaster, could be an Effect Failure. Maybe not a bad idea here, but Spectre are going to have to make each of these choices wisely. Remember, Spectre's down a game. Lemon's up 1. If Lemon clinches this duel out, whether they trip and happen to stumble into victory or grind it out like we know the great duelists they are, then technically speaking, they're done. Pack your bags, you're going to the Shadow Duelist Day 3. We do see both Tales of the White Forest and Deception of the Sinful Spoils added from the deck to the hand. Alright, so now with the Deception on the field, opportunity to grab the Hallowed Azamana from the deck. If you tribute a monster. Looks like we're going to use Tales of the White Forest first, since we do control a Spellcaster monster. Time to grab one of those Sacred types. See which support monster we put by it. Could be a setup for a Diabell, Queen of the White Forest. 2 + 6 after all is 8. 2, 6. Yeah, looks like an 8 to me. And so we're going to grab Astalar of the White Forest. And then Tribute a Monster from the hand, and add the summon a card from the deck to the hand. And actually, bye-bye, Astalar. You were just here for a moment. Which is kind of the plot of the actual Sinful Spoils storyline. It's like, hey, Astalar, bye, Astalar. We're gonna do whatever this is. Say hello to Saint Azamana, right? Alright, speaking of Azamana, we're gonna activate the Hollow Azamana to Fusion Summon. Rounding down. Sort of evil afoot there. Definitely some high-level alchemy to round down in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Here comes Muashilago. And that means we're going to be searching out something. Don't imagine we're going to get hit by Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It probably would have shown up by now. Never can be sure, though. Wanted Seeker Sinful Spoils added from the deck to the hand. So could grab Dia Bellstar as well, but using the Hollow Azamana to go ahead and reset the Elzad Azamana of the White Forest. But DD Crow jumping out of nowhere here. DD Crow still a very good card. Doesn't have the same requirements as Abystial. Always works. Can be used in this format to get rid of recyclable spell and trap cards, which as you saw from yesterday's tournament and today's, that's kind of a big thing. So, still returning the Elzad Azamana of the White Forest from the deck to the hand. Or excuse me, from the graveyard to the hand. But Azamana Muashilago going to go ahead and join Arshilia to make Moon of the Closed Heaven, linking off into Fiendsmith Requiem. So now tributing that monster off. Maybe the tiniest Nibiru on the way. Alright, the music kicking up here. Finisher rank number 6, by the way, even bigger than Tenpai monsters. So Fiendsmith Requiem is going to go ahead and equip there. Necro-equip Princess? Wrong format. But we do have Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Going to go ahead and grab the Bellstar, which makes me imagine that we're going to send the equipped Fiendsmith Requiem to the graveyard in order to special summon Dia Bellstar to set an additional card. But which Sinful Spoil is it going to be? We've seen some really careful play setting the Sinful Spoils to slumber. But it could just be, of course, another original Sinful Spoils or something like... No, they're going to do the Sinful Spoils as slumber, so I love that this combo is being used to keep everybody very careful, very honest. You get the searchable Book of Moon. Turns out to be pretty good in this format. Like, really good in this format. So, link that off into Fiendsmith's sequence. Gonna go and activate it. No points of interaction from Lemon of any kind, so we may see this go to a game 3. Gonna go and recycle the Moon of the Closed Heaven, and the Fiendsmith Requiem feels pretty good to go ahead and put the extra deck monsters back, not thickening the deck in any way. Fiendsmith Lacrima showing up, gonna grab the Fiendsmith Engraver. And so effect Resolution. Let's go ahead and bring this out. Now I feel there's 2 ways to go. We talked about this. Do you press on the gas or do you pull the brakes? And it's based on whichever Xyz monster you make. Looks like we're making Beatrice Lady of the Eternal, though, and so this is going more for the Promethean Princess line than it is for, you know, just trying to end on a big old wave High King Caesar, right? Not trying to negate our opponent's special summons, instead pushing the envelope as hard as we can. Spectre fighting for their tournament career here. A single loss at this point sends them home. And yeah, they get some great prizes, but nothing else. But they sent Triple Tactics Talent to the graveyard. Interesting. Maybe not wanting to top deck that later. They're going to bring out Sprite Elf. And Sprite Elf is going to be used to bring out Astalar of the White Forest. Now remember, they could make Diabell, Queen of the White Forest, add a spell from the graveyard to the hand, and then Triple Tactics Talent. It would still be live right now. And by recycling the Fiendsmith Engraver, that might be exactly what they're doing, because we've got 2 and 6. The problem is, no tuner monster to be found. But Fiendsmith Sequence is going to go ahead and equip there. And so, decent stuff, but you get to set the spell or trap from the field. So let's go ahead and trade in the Fiendsmith Sequence. And there's our Rushia of the White Forest. Could make a Baron de Fleur. Could make a number of different stuff. There's so many different directions this could go. And it really is going to just be up to Spectre how he preserves his advantage here. That's a second tuner. You could do 2 synchros. But it looks like we're going to start off with our first one. Always tell it's a synchro by the green animations here in blue. And so synchro summoning Archelia's Sinister Soul of the White Forest. And then using Rushi of the White Forest, getting rid of the sinful spoils of Slumber. And then using Astalar's effect as well to special summon it back. So now a 2 and a 6 could be used to make Diabell. And I think we're going to do that to finally get access to Triple Tactics Talent. Are they going so far in that they're going to make a Triple Tactics Talent in order to return a card from the opponent's hand to just thin down any chance that Lemon has of getting out of this duel alive and guaranteeing the game 3? Maybe, because Lemon goes ahead and concedes from there. So the draw, too much. Let's go ahead and switch gears now. Catch up with Yusif and Rafa. And we're going to fast forward this a little bit to catch up to live gameplay. Because this also could be the end of their tournament run, and we also want to be able to catch the last game. Because Lemon and Spectre got themselves a match. So, turbo time. Looks like Rafa bringing out the Airlifter, which is negated by an effect failure, activating Fiendsmith Track to grab Fabled Lure. Going to discard that to the graveyard to bring it right back. And chances are, I think it's going to be a Fiendsmith Requiem Link 1. That'll be linked off to make a Fiendsmith Engraver. And then, going to go ahead and use Fiendsmith Engraver's effect to flip that over. Diabellstar the Black Witch going to eat up that Fiendsmith Requiem to go ahead and set Deception of Simple Spoils, play the original Simple Spoils, get the Rescue Ace Hydrant, go ahead and add Turbulence, but then play Deception of Simple Spoils to drop down a monster and grab Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina going to fusion summon out the Mu Archelago, get rid of the Deception of Simple Spoils. That'll come back during the end phase. Mu Archelago is going to grab the wanted Seeker of Simple Spoils and then link off in a Fiendsmith sequence. Well, you're not going to fuse yet because we're going to grab back the Hallowed Azamina and immediately play it. Then Shane wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils to grab back Diabellstar, send away the wanted to put out the 1-card negate Ilya Sylvia. Fiendsmith sequence now going to use its effect. 3-card fusion for Fiendsmith's Desiree. And then make Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. Bestower of Flames brings back the Hydrant and then equips onto the Desiree, so we can negate the Princess to bring out a Link summon of a non-fire monster, the Wind, Apollo the Goddess. Next, we'll see Turbulence go ahead and set not 1, not 2, not 3, but, well, I guess just 3 cards. Usually 4, but want to keep a space open for the Deception of Simple Spoils or whatever it is that they set. All right, so play passing on to Yusif. Apollo the Goddess going to go and negate that. Just return that to the hand. That's fine. Wedju Temple placing in the Spell and Trap Zone anyway. Now getting a second engine that wakes from Millennium. Going to go ahead and use the Golden Cards Millennium Treasure. Entering the battle phase, Preventer does get pushed out there. But Preventer going to the graveyard means that a special summon will happen. It's going to mean a couple things happen too, and Yusif concedes that game as well. That's just too much. Okay. Wow. So that means Spectre won a game, Lemon won a game, Yusif won a game, Rafa won a game. We are down to the final 2 games for the top 4. Both of these were a full-on match. Awesome. That's just what you want. You know, people want it. They want like, oh, and I win the duel and it's fine and everything goes away. You want like squeakers of a duel. It's good for you as a duelist, and it's frankly good for your opponent too to train up against a great duelist like yourself. And it does make for good entertainment, so we are certainly appreciative of Yusif and Lemon and Spectre and Rafa just doing some great work here on this glorious Sunday. Great weather. At least we're staying inside and watching duels. Hopefully you are great wherever you are, whether you're watching from a cell phone, maybe I'm on your TV, maybe I'm on YouTube right now. Hi, YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, we're going to be uploading this to our YouTube right after this tournament ends, which may be soon as Lemon gets ready for the next duel with Spectre. All right. So here we go. Spectre going second. Lemon going first, having lost that duel. All right, starting with Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Sorry if I blew out your ears there, but I love blue eyes, obviously, but Mulcharmy Fuwalo's there to kind of slow things down. Are we doing the full Dragon Master Magia combo? I guess we are going to see. A lot can get done with just a single Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Lemon betting it all on Blue Eyes. Whether or not they go to the Shadow Duelist Tournament, all on Blue Eyes. We'll play Mausoleum of the White. Activate Mausoleum of the White and send a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the graveyard to increase the attack of Neo Kaiser Seahorse by 100 for every one of its levels. So, 800. That brings it up to 2,500. But that can't be all. Wishes for Eyes of Blue already in the hand. Just that good. Discarding an additional copy of Neo Kaiser Seahorse to grab from the deck to the hand, since this is resolving. No Ash Blossoms here. One level 1 Light Tuner and a spell card or trap card that mentions none other than the legendary Engine Destruction Blue Eyes White Dragon. And which two shall they add? Gonna get Majesty of the White Dragons and Maiden of White. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and discard Maiden of White. And place True Light face up on the field. Such a great card, so much better than Eternal Soul. I'm such a huge Dark Magician stan. Just give me the power that you gave Blue Eyes. I'll be good. I'll just do Dark Magician plays. Okay, cool. Now that we got that straightened out, we're going to go ahead and continue Lemon's turn here. They're going to use the effect of True Light to set a spell card. Could be Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Ooh, it's Ultimate Fusion. Are we doing this? Do we decide not to summon anything? Wow, we end our turn there. Neo Kaiser Seahorse standing alone, but Fuwalo's not played into by a single card. And certainly some great points of interaction, a lot of destruction here between the Majesty of the White Dragons and the Ultimate Fusion. Ultimate Fusion will be able to fuse using materials from the graveyard and field, and True Light can actually special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon in order to get it to the field to keep that combo going. That means you get the destruction effect because you fuse the Blue Eyes from the field and not from your graveyard or hand. So, Lemon just doing good work here. Spectre may not have played against any Blue Eyes this tournament, Lemon having beaten a Blue Eyes duelist themselves. Sending Jesse Cotton home, I believe. If I check our bracket here, it was Lemon. Maybe inspired by Jesse to take a page out of his book. Definitely a very recent page. You can always tell that whenever it's a tournament like this and their bling isn't out, right? And it's just like the green look grass field, the basic Master Duel Duels Kingdom style. They're like, oh, they probably just recently changed into this without setting the accessories. And that's okay. That's okay. But now, staring down a field of 5 spell and trap cards, you know that you've got all those points of destruction. There's at least 2 destructions going on. And you have to sequence your plays very careful. And anybody who's been playing Fiendsmith sequence all day probably knows the order of operations. But now it's just Spectre's turn. Considering his options very carefully. You can't mess this up. This is game 3. There are no more duels after this. So what do you do, Spectre? Just thinking about that Ultimate Fusion. Maybe a little too hard. Yes, Blue Eyes is ready to take you out. But the only way to get through it is to get through it, right? You have to be able to charge through and not worry about that. Now, this deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon, obviously very powerful, great combo potential, but also fragile, right? If you get rid of the True Light in certain ways, it does take everything out with it. Looks like we're going to start with Max C, actually, kind of forcing activations here. So, does Lemon decide to use True Light now in order to special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon? There's a lot of special summons that they'd be giving up if they did. It looks like they are going to do that. So to dodge, they'll pop out Blue Eyes now, but they may still summon Maiden of White. If they do summon Maiden of White, that could be difficult. But now we've got Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave, a great way to force that out. Banishing the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now you almost have to, because it's Solemn Judgment. Okay, never mind. Anything I was going to say does not apply to Solemn Judgment. So, a little declaration of the friendly man up there says, no cards. I'll take half my life points for that. So that means Blue Eyes is going to come out. Great little tablet Blue Eyes, the original art there. And actually glossy there, very nice. And does not put the Maiden of White out. Decides not to put Maiden of White. Very wise. Fire King Island on the field. Now, this is going to be interesting because remember, you do have access to that additional point of destruction from the Ultimate Fusion. So Spectre, considering their options here, decided to bring in Fire Kings into the final match. Fire King's a very durable, very flexible deck, but sometimes has to target. And it is true that True Light prevents targeting of just Blue Eyes White Dragon. And Blue Eyes Jet Dragon may be very helpful here to combat Kirin's, Garunix's, and the like. So only 2 cards there. Has to destroy one of them. You got to imagine it's got to be something they can get rid of to grab a Fire King monster. But there could be a chain. Technically, you could be trying to destroy and trying to set up your field, but I do not envy either of these duelists sort of trying to just carve things out. Making sure that we haven't missed anything. I'm checking on the bracket. We still have no update on the other duel from Yusuf and Rafa, which are going to be in their final game. Final, right? Final round. But we're live. Looks like we're going to use Original Sinful Spoils. Now, this is interesting. Going to go ahead and get rid of the Fire King Island. Fire King Island is going to trigger here and destroy the Snake Eye Ash, but not before the Snake Eye Ash is able to activate its own effect and be able to add from the deck to the hand a Snake Eyes Poplar to be able to special summon and continue those combos. So it's actually really like not a bad look at all, and a very interesting way to just make up for the fact, like, okay, I didn't have the greatest hand, I kind of drew all the stuff that you want to leave in the deck, the garnets, if you will. But gemstone jokes aside, we were actually getting it done here, and it's really now about whether or not there's another chain here. Effect is not resolved. Do they activate that last card in their hand? You have to remember, the Fire King Island is going to resolve. It's going to blow up all those monsters. So maybe you want your monsters blown up. It'd be a good thing. It's Fire King. So, oh, wow. Just nail-biter of a turn. Every single duel. Oh, we are going to use the Kirin. Okay, so Fire King, High Avatar Kirin. And that makes it a little bit more difficult. You don't really want to destroy. And because we're seeing the Ultimate Fusion so early, I don't think we're going to see Dragon Master Magia in this duel, because you had to get access to the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon and use the Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You know, the Molcharmi Fuwalos may have pushed back on enough of the combo potential to just leave it as a Tyrant Dragon and not much else. Tyrant Dragon's good, though. You can reset that Solemn Judgment. You'd be like, oh, look at this. You dropped this, sir. Oh, what? Your crown, right? And you're just like, cool, Solemn Judgment right back in here to rule the duel. But right now, Lemon has to decide, do they want to do anything further? What could you want to do here? Now, there's a version of this where you could chain the Snake Eye Ash to the effect of the Fire King Island in order to keep things moving, but now it looks like in order to make sure that the Snake Eye Ash is never present on the field with another monster, we're going to go ahead and use the Majesty of the White Dragons. We show Blue Eyes. Like, hello, here's Blue Eyes. Do you see this? Bye. So Snake Eye Ash is going to resolve here. So figuring out, you know, that you could use the Snake Eye Ash in a combo to put Snake Eye, maybe like Snake Eye's Flambird Dragon on the field. It goes to the graveyard, but then you get the 2 more little fire babies on the field, 2 level 1 fires. That's pretty much all you need to basically like start rubbing it together to start a real flame, right? It's 2 sticks, by the way, just in case you're, in case I'm bad at charades, I should say, not you, me. But we're not playing charades, we're playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. And our Master Duelists on Master Duel are going to go ahead and add the legendary Fire King Ponix. So Fire King Island. Going to go ahead and resolve without effect there. Looks like Ponix is going to activate. And yeah, so no effect at all. So Ponix by itself. Going to go ahead and get the Fire King Sanctuary. Or Skyburn, okay, deciding not to get the Sanctuary, obviously, because you don't really need the blank card that does nothing. I mean, unless you're using it with Original Sinful Spoils, Snake Eye. But a Fire King Skyburn, obviously a lot more helpful there, right? Just being able to banish the card from the graveyard in order to prevent destruction. Why would you want to prevent a Fire King from being destroyed? I guess it comes up, right? But also being able to destroy cards on both fields, starting with Ponix and then coming for, True Light. So interesting. Taking a look at the text there. of the Skyburn. It just says destroy them, not destroy those targets. So not a way to dodge that out. So we are going to see the True Light. Going to go ahead and take out Blue Eyes White Dragon and Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Sorry, Seto Kaiba fans. It was not to be. But Neo Kaiser Seahorse was sent to the graveyard. So what kind of level 1 light tuners do we got? Oh, no, just send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. Would have made the Majesty of the White Dragons a little better for activation, but if we do see a Tyrant Dragon, it is able to recycle that trap card. And speaking of recycling, let's go ahead and cycle things over to Lemon. Again, final round here. And we still don't know who our other finalist is. All right, so Ponix using its effect to go back to the hand during the standby phase, but that also kind of indicates whatever's in the hand, it's a Ponix and something, right? Let's go and discard. Wow, being able to put the True Light back on the field face up, being able to activate its effect now, getting out that Blue Eyes White Dragon. Placing in the middle zone. This might be time. We might have to turn into Seto Kaiba stands for just a moment, because if there was a moment for Blue Eyes White Dragon, this is that moment. After everything we have been through this tournament, True Light's effect activates to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the hand or graveyard. All right, let it roll. Blue Eyes White Dragon in attack mode. But wait, there's more. Maiden of White can special summon itself whenever Blue Eyes White Dragon is special summoned. So gonna grab itself out too. And there's the Maiden. So now a lot of Synchro summon potential here. And that could be really huge because Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon does have the ability to negate activated effects in the graveyard. And that could be very, very potent. Speaking of potent, we're going to banish Wishes for Eyes of Blue and equip something on here. We'll see if this is a Dragon Master Magia deck based on the equip, but it is not because we're using Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon instead of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I mean, there's Magia stands out there, but not going to risk your entire Shadow Duelist career on that. That is probably the safe, good thing to do. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and make the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Big monster, multiple attacks, a little bit of recycling trap cards. Of course, it recycles trap cards by, is it battle damage? Yeah, it's at the end of the damage step. If it battled, just target a trap card in the graveyard, set it, meaning you can set the Solemn Judgment again. So, Lemon may be the one true blue Seto Kaiba out here. We did get an update. Rafa King is the one who's waiting in the finals. So congratulations, Rafa. This is the final duel. This is it. This is the end of today's tournament stream based on our results here. After this, we'll, of course, close things out so you know exactly what to look forward to from the finals and the coveted Shadow Duelist stream. But congratulations to Rafa, who I believe is in our chat. You did it, fam. You did it. You're getting a Switch. There should be a Switch. Steam Deck OLED. You're getting the Rescue Rabbit plush. You're getting the Early Days collection. You're getting the Time Wizard plush. And I'm looking forward to seeing your performance on that stream. And whoever our Shadow Duelist is, good luck. You may need it. All right. So we are going to perform a Synchro summon here for Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Ooh, and the Royal. Nice. Now we're going to use Ultimate Fusion. Are we running multiple Tyrant Dragons so we could recycle a Tyrant Dragon and Blue Eyes to make another Tyrant Dragon? Well, let's resolve the effect and find out. Yep, we are. Okay, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon back into the extra deck for, get this, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. I didn't know if you fused something with something else, it just became itself. Did the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon eat the Blue Eyes? Well, no time for that as we attack Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. And now that means you can set a trap card. I believe you've got two choices. It could be Majesty of the White Dragons or Solemn Judgment. But Solemn Judgment's definitely the call here, paying half your life points to stop whatever it is that's coming your way. 2,500 reduces those life points down of Spectres to 2,100. The music changes tempo. We're not done yet. But Spectre's got his work cut out for him, including playing through a single copy of Solemn Judgment, but also having to deal with True Light's protection effect and the ability to set even more cards later. Lemon ends their turn. It's Spectre's moment. Draws for turn. Proudly representing fire with that flamey field featuring Flamberge Dragon in those great fire red Master Duel sleeves. It's been a gripping performance. But now, the only thing you got to grip onto is the edge of your seat. 3 cards. 3 cards versus a Solemn Judgment. 3 cards and you don't have access to the graveyard. At least one graveyard effect could be negated by the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. But let's start with that graveyard effect by using the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye to banish that card, target the Snake Eye Ash, and ask the question, Lemon, what you going to do about that? Is this what you want to waste your card on? Do you want to slow me down now? It looks like you do. So, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon activates its effect. Negates the activation of a graveyard-based effect, and it resolves. Negated. So now we'll use Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. I think we're going to see a Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon here. It makes the most sense. It has an additional negation effect of its own to stop activated cards on the field and gives 1,000 attack power to that Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Although it'll be destroyed during the end phase, Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon can summon a Light Dragon in the end phase. But there's other options too. Could be a Azure Eyes Silver Dragon to stop targeting and shore up resources for later. But we're resolving the effect. It is Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. 4,000 defense and possibly 4,500 attack. Spectre now having to fight through Solemn Judgment and that activated effect on the field. But you can't Solemn Judgment this. So, Fire King, High Avatar Kieran using its effects. Gonna go ahead and destroy another fire monster. Special summon the card pretty big, but not big enough. 2,400's not bad. Destroying the legendary Fire King Ponix. So 2,400 slamming down to the field. No response there. Deciding not to activate any effects. Going into the battle phase. The battle phase. Crashing into it. Kieran is going to get destroyed for the low cost of 1,000 life points. Going to activate its effect in the graveyard. It's not an activated effect on the field, but Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon does get to set the Majesty of the White Dragons for later. Sacred Fire King Garunix also using its effect too. If you can't activate any cards on the field, just try not activating any cards on the field, right? So, Sacred Fire King Garunix reveals itself. And Ponix does too. But still only 2,700. And has to do something about that Solemn Judgment. You can't just sit and stare, but is able to destroy the True Light. True Light is going to go ahead and get rid of everything else. But remember, a couple things are going to happen here. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, I believe, is unaffected by trap cards or effects, so True Light will not destroy it. And the Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon can negate that activate effect, destroy it, but when it's destroyed itself, since it's already used its effect anyway, it can still special summon a Light Dragon from the graveyard, putting out another copy of the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Or Blue Eyes White Dragon. We're still in the battle phase. 3,600 is pretty big. But let's go ahead and see that chain of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. See which target it decides. What Light Dragon monster it provides. Alright, it is going to be a Spirit Dragon in defense mode. 3,000 attack. Could definitely beat it down. 3,000 higher, I should say. But Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon defense mode, definitely a solid play. And that is going to crash, or cause the crashing, from the Garunix. All right, Spectre hanging in there. Again, this is the final game of the entire tournament. Everybody's watching this duel. We get a Link Karibo off of the legendary Fire King Ponix. There's a Solemn Judgment. Oh, wow. Ixie summon. We're doing it. It's going to be Garunix Eternity. The Yang of the Fire Kings. Or Hyung. Probably Hyung. Does get to use its effect. So destroy all other monsters. Be gone, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. And activate the effect again. targeting a spell or trap on the field and destroying it. Which is going to get destroyed? Looks like we're going to get rid of the Majesty of the White Dragon. So now the game's completely turned around. Honestly, Lemon needs to close the duel out as fast as possible to make sure that this isn't the end of his journey and story. Spectre heating things right up. A masterclass. We saw Fire Kings get first place at YCS Birmingham. These kind of plays, this is why. Passing the turn, though, with that single Solemn Judgment, can't activate it. Has to hope just that Hyung of the Fire King's Runic Eternity is just going to attack it. Reducing you to 500 life points with no other plays. But even then, can go ahead and detach the material and destroy the Solemn Judgment. Has 4,000 attack, having been boosted up. Attacks directly, and Spectre performs one of the greatest comebacks we have ever seen. Just incredible, incredible work there. GG to all duelists involved. Oh my goodness. And as we already know, Rafa had taken that spot. Wow, okay. Well, that's incredible. Let's talk about how we got here as we pull up the bracket just to talk about who is going to be in our finals. Again, it is going to be Rafa, who conquered some incredible duelists, but Spectre knocking out the King Smasher themselves, Lemon. And here's our finals. Now, this is also the end of our stream. You'll have to tune in to the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitch and Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube channel. But, speaking of YouTube, this has been an incredible tournament and a great showcase of where Master Duel's out right now. And as you see, it's not all just one deck. There's a lot of different decks. Sometimes your deck is like a bunch of different decks combined in itself. But we just saw Fire Kings against Blue Eyes, and that was quite inspirational because it shows you whatever deck you're confident in, just go ahead and put the time in, put the resources in, go ahead and put the man hours in, and you'll be ready and comfortable enough to duel in the finals just like we saw those two. I'm going to go ahead and put this on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube. Hey, but it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. I don't have the official details yet on when they're going to air the Shadow Duelist Tournament, but again, whoever it is from our final two duelists will be colliding against each other, and the winner of that will go ahead and place against Shadow Duelist number 3, and just by playing, they'll get some wonderful prizes, including that giant card featuring a certain labyrinth monster, so we'll see what it is that ends up being played in the Shadow Duelist Tournament. That seems to be the connection there, at least from what we saw on the last one featuring Xavier Woods. No spoilers there, that was Shadow Duelist number 2. You can watch the tournament actually on my YouTube as well. I'm Pheromone, this has been the Shadow Duelist number 3 tournament, and what an incredible, incredible format we're in. But you know, Master will move so fast, by the time we're streaming next, the format may be blown completely wide open and be completely different. Thank you so much for watching. Again, we'll get those details and the VOD up on the YouTube channel as soon as we can. But until then, you are all free now, and thanks for watching. See you, friends!